some reefers. They're going to hang him. Blanche, they're going to hang him.
Oh, come on. Get a hold of yourself. Here you are. Now, quit that crazy laughing.
Where's Jack? I want to get out of here.
They'll pick you up and hang you if you don't pipe down.
I want to see Jack. Jack. I want to see Jack. Jack.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Trash Talk. It's Esports Madness is the theme of today, as referenced by, of course, the cult classic movie Reefer Madness there from the 30s, because, of course, marijuana is bad for you. We all know that. And esports is bad for you too. And you should believe everything everyone says in esports. Isn't that right, Sam?
Of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Yep, must be true then. So let's see what's been going on today in the world of esports. Lots happening, actually. It's been pretty exciting. I wasn't expecting to do a show so quick, thinking, well, maybe there won't be a lot to talk about, but it turns out there's plenty going on. So I think we'll start, first of all, with the news over in Global Offensive. Some of the wheels are starting to come off the NIP dream. For the longest time, the secrets surrounding Ninjas in Pajamas have been kept. People are now starting to report on them. I've been collating information. There's stuff I've got that I'm going to be publishing very soon. And of course, you've got Aftonbladet, the Swedish website, released a piece today. It was Bjorn Ehrenberg, the Swedish journalist, about basically there could well stand trial for accounting violations. Now, the specifics of what these accounting violations haven't been expressed, but it does say that it's going to affect the owners. And one of these owners that's been named is Emil Heaton Christensen. It also could bring in some of the Dig Life owners. It could bring in some of the other old owners. Basically, the whole thing is a mess. And I suggest you go and read that story there. You can also see as well, just from the final paragraph, that there's probably some fraud along the way. There's potential of jail time here. I mean, I've already talked to some Swedish experts about it. Jail time's highly unlikely if you get a good lawyer. But basically, there is sentencing on a sliding scale between anywhere of 6 months to 6 years if they find that these accounting violations were in any way intentional. So the players that have been sort of playing, I'm pretty sure they're aware of this. There was talk some of the players have equity in the squad. Whole thing is a mess, and that's basically the specter that's been over Ninjas in Pajamas for the longest period of time. Now, in addition to that, I think, well, there's been a few other few bits and pieces, but the big story today was the announcement of my old colleague, Jacob Wolf from the Daily Dot, and he announced that Piglet was going to be leaving Team Liquid. Now, of course, this is the famous word on the street. We've heard all of this multiple times over. I certainly have been told this myself from sources that I consider reliable. And, of course, the follow-up to that, what happens? It's your boy Liquid, right? He comes out all guns blazing and basically says that he extended his contract to the 20th of November 2016. He made the post on Reddit himself about 2 hours ago, and a lot of people are saying, well, this must be true, and Liquid's pulled a Game of Thrones, and what he's doing is he's basically leaked false information to leak to the journalist. Everybody was saying Piglet was leaving Team Liquid. Everybody. It was reported. Rather, it wasn't reported, but it was out there, and multiple journalists knew about this. I'd heard this myself included. So very strange that we see this announcement about the extension of the contract. Now, here's the other thing. The extension of the contract doesn't mean Piglet's necessarily going to play. Extending a contract would, of course, it could be there for legal reasons. It might help him secure a visa. It could be there because obviously you can command a buyout and a transfer fee rather than let the contract wind down. The whole thing is just, I don't know, fairly ridiculous to me. Nothing's really been decided yet. I think we all know that there's trouble in paradise. And here's the thing. So this is an organization. I know Sam knows all about this. Team Liquid have lied multiple times. I've lost count. I don't know if you can bring up. Let me just see actually if it's still there because someone told me the site might be down at the moment, which is probably true. Yeah, it is. But anyway, I was going to say perhaps we could have brought up an example from thinkpeace.gg, but it's currently. I don't think we've paid the subs on it, have we? Yeah, I don't even know what we've done.
I'll get it sorted, but
it's out of my control as well. But anyway, so we had this before when he's brought players in. He's actually gone out there and denied it, and then 3 days later, the players have come through. That was Liquid 112 himself. We saw recently the situation with Hiko, and again, they went on the offensive. There's a guy called GB James. He's their CSGO coach. He's a serial fantasist and liar. This is somebody that has pretended to be in the upper echelons of Counter-Strike for some time, yet every pro I've spoke to is like he's one of the worst people to ever play at the highest level ever. Now, you contrast that, and I will read it for you guys. Might even get Sam to bring it up on screen while I'm doing it. I will send you that link now, Sam, so you can show people. You can see here that when Hiko joined, and I did a report, which I think is fair. I don't think there's any problems with this even being out in the public domain, that Hiko was set to join. The stumbling block was financial remuneration for his loss of sponsors. He wanted an extra amount of salary. He didn't want to be on the rest of the salary, same as his teammates. That's certainly how it was at Nihilum. That was... the Kingwin money was basically covering that. That was why he was able to be part of that team. And I put this report out there, and immediately they went on the offensive. Richard Lewis is lying. He's lying. He had bad intel. He had bad info. It's definitely not bad info. I mean, I could fucking humiliate these people if I really wanted to throw a source under the bus. But, I was looking at this, just the way he described himself. I played over 10 years of invite-level competitive play, created and led 9 teams to invite, coached over 200 teams in over 24 different countries through lessons. What does that even mean? What is that, over 200 teams in over 24 different countries through lessons? Okay, mate. It's really good that you've remembered that statistic. It's funny because whenever I'm speaking to anyone, people are like, yeah, I'm not too sure, and I think he took a break. He also talks about how he was on the... best team in NA, which was Dazed, Mo, Pinecone, Hiko, and himself 3 years ago. Now, actually, if you look at the team on ESEA, it had a huge roster, and he was just one player on it. And he says, I replaced myself with Semphis. He didn't replace himself. Guy was dropped because he wasn't good enough. So Team Liquid seems to attract fantasists into their ranks. And people might remember just the other day, I was reporting about X Special being benched. And you'll remember again that, what happened, right? What happened? It was Joker Steve. You might remember from episode 31, the guy that I said, I hope next time he comes, blood comes out, right? Which I stand by. I do. I fucking stand by it. Fuck this guy. He came out publicly and was like, why would we let the players control the roster? So I'm going to bring up some screenshots for you now, as I'm really getting bored of this from Team Liquid. And you can see for yourself on these screenshots that this is exactly, and these aren't the only ones that I got. These are floating around. This doesn't burn a source. These have been circulated to multiple people. Okay? And in it, you will notice it's IWillDominate. The person that I reported is controlling the roster. And what's he saying? He's saying, I got 100% control of the roster for next split. Step 1, benching X Special. Lol. Okay, cool. So, what was on the other page, right? There was another page of fucking logs, and it says the replacement. And it says, yeah, we'll be bringing in Smoothie. Okay? And this has been told to multiple people. Multiple people. Right? This is just one example of screenshots that are out there. So if Joker Steve wants to fucking imply that I'm lying when I report things, he better fucking get his player to wind his neck in. He needs to fucking control what fucking his players are telling people, because guess what? If you say that to 2, 3, 4 people, if you have 4 conversations of screenshots exactly like that floating around there in cyberspace, people are going to believe exactly what's being said. So there's only 2 ways. There's only 2 sort of ways out at this point if you're Team Liquid presented with that evidence. And that is basically you either say, well, he doesn't have control of the roster and the player's lying, or you say, actually, we're lying and we're trying to do our usual of smearing a journalist's name. And I'm absolutely sick and tired of it. It just makes me fucking so bored that this organization that have got more fucking leaks than, I don't even know, like, more fucking leaks than the whole of Wales. There you go. There's a fucking reference. No cunt again. Right? That this is the sort of shit that's being allowed. And nobody challenges these people time and time again. And it's always their version that's taken as the de facto truth. And it's fucking bullshit. And I'm tired of the bullshit. And I'm going to start coming after organizations that fucking spread bullshit. Believe it. Right? I have had enough. There's internal shit going on in Team Liquid right now. I am going to fucking start dragging these little skeletons of yours out of the closet and putting them publicly. Because you're the one organization out of all of the organizations that no matter how many times a journalist tells you, no comment, work with us, no comment, work with us, you fucking don't do it, and you try and burn them publicly, and you're all fucking liars. All your management, or your infrastructure, you're full of fucking liars. And I am bored of it now. All right? So anyone out there that's thinking Jacob Wolf has just reported this for clicks or whatever, get real. Worst case scenario, he was right at the time that he reported it, right? It was accurate information and it's been changed, right? An extension on a contract doesn't mean the player's going to be starting next season. I mean, Jesus Christ, people, have we learned nothing? Have we learned nothing about fucking esports? So anyway, that's why the theme of the show is esports madness. Because it's the same shit repeating itself over and over and over again. And trust me, the next leak that comes out of Team Liquid, believe you'll hear about it from me first. I'm going to go in on these motherfuckers because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I've tried being polite to them. I've tried being nice to them. I've asked for apologies. I've asked for retractions. They never do it. They're fucking serial liars. So get fucked, Joker Steve. Right? Seriously. I hope you're watching this show right now and realize what a fucking clown you look like. So, anyway. Right. What other news has been going on? I mean, there's other bits and pieces. Let's have... What should we get into? We can get back to some CSGO stuff. I did see that we've obviously got all the teams set for the next big major at DreamHack Cluj, and it sounds like Valve have got some special plans out there. They're going to be doing some pretty cool shit, which I'm really psyched about. Obviously, as well, it was confirmed today by secondary sources that once again I was right about the transfer fee for Screen. He's now officially the most expensive CS player in history, $150,000 Titan paid to bring him to the team. I get shit on for fucking 3-4 days because I'm lying. I've been fed bad info. Gets confirmed by secondary sources. It's your boy, Richard Lewis. Yeah, all right. So I'm getting kind of fucking bored now of being told I'm wrong when I got my finger on the pulse of this fucking industry more than anyone else. Fact. Needs to be stated. I'm getting bored of it. So... anyway, that's the news. I reckon we'll go into a call. Let's just get the fucking calls in early, Sam. Who we got and what do they want to talk about?
Okay, I'm going to go with Let's go with Eric. You'd like to talk about the role of international teams in the future of CSGO a la Kingwin/G2, specifically whether or not they are capable of succeeding and what a future team could look like regarding the changes of NIP and likely G2.
All right, then. Let's get into that. Let's definitely get into that. Can you hear me, Eric? Are you with us? Hello,
hey.
Eric.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi there, Eric. How you doing, buddy? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, excellent. I've got a little bit of your mic's a little bit sort of cutting in and out, but we'll just see how it goes. So Sam's given me a summary of what you wanted to talk about, but let's just get straight into it. Why don't you cut to which part is the most important for you?
Right. Well, I just wanted to talk about generally the kind of concept of international teams, because I think it's a pressing issue at the moment in CS:GO with obviously the rumors of the NIP lineup changes. Obviously, we had Kingwin, which was probably the first high-profile team like that. And I just think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we're going to see stuff like this in the future, and whether it's actually going to be, a sustainable team. Because like we obviously have now Kingwin, or I think it was Scream coming out saying that there were a lot of internal issues in Kingwin and stuff like that, and kind of the Swedes had grouped up together, it seemed, and then Fox and Scream were left outside. And now with all the talk about the NIP players going up, Lurpis just published an article about potential where Getright and Alu could probably go to North America or get an international team. I think it's going to be something that we might see more of, and I think whether or not it's going to be actually sustainable for a team to be successful is an interesting question.
Well, look, let's talk about it. I mean, so first of all, I got to say, I think that I don't think the barriers exist in CSGO or indeed in esports in general that maybe they used to. I think a native team of 5 native speakers are always going to have an advantage, but I think what you lose in terms of speed of communication by having that native language, I don't think necessarily that loss is greater than what you gain from just having a better player. So we are starting to see these international teams coming together. Somebody like Getright going to NA, which again, I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to happen. He's fluent in English. Like there's no downside to having him in a non-Swedish team that I can sort of perceivably see. Especially when you consider that actually it's gonna double them up in terms of strength, because you're going to get, if it happens, Sean Gare's going to coach on Cloud9, and you add Getright into the mix. So it's like you increase their firepower and fragging ability, and you also give them an active coach. No disrespect to Stunner, but he's more of a motivational kind of guy. He's more of a facilitator. Yeah. He's not a tactician. And I think we're moving into an era in CSGO where, unlike League of Legends, coaches actually matter, in terms of what's happening on stage during a game. I've said this many times over. I feel like the coaches in League of Legends are props, whereas I do feel that the coaches in CS:GO do have a difference. Having watched Vugo and calling timeouts and how successful he's been with Fnatic, so moving to something a bit more eclectic like Kingwin. First, I was skeptical that it could work. There hasn't really been sort of a mixed nation team that's been successful in CS:GO, but I say they have been a successful team in their current iteration. They made forward progress, and they showed actually that you can do it. You can just add fraggers as long as you've got a solid coach behind them. Now, they were disappointing at DreamHack London, no doubt about it, but I got to say, I feel this is down to this ridiculous cloud that's over them regarding the Dig Life acquisitions. It's obviously very distracting for players. You're being offered exorbitant salaries. You've got people trying to poach you. You just want to focus on your game. You've got people leaving the team. They probably knew about it at DreamHack London. So I'm inclined to just write that event off as being like there was too many distractions for them to do well. But I think in general, I think they've actually been a success. They've certainly been more of a success than a failure.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think just quickly pulling back to the get right to Cloud9 rumor, I think that would make perfect sense. I think that'd be a huge addition to Cloud9, especially considering after that early hype earlier on in the summer, their performances have kind of slowed down. I think that'd be a great addition for them. But specifically, like you said about Kingwin, I'd agree that I think compared to what was at least my original expectation and what it seemed to be the kind of original expectation from most of the kind of analysts in the CS scene, look at Thor and Lurpus, a lot of people were saying that these guys aren't really going to become even close to as good as a team as the hype was suggesting. I think that they clearly proved that, yeah, it's possible. But I think what you have to look at, kind of what we saw as Kingwin, is whether that's actually a long-term solution. Because whenever then, let's take, let's say that some sort of new team comes cooking with, let's say, like Freiburg, Alu, and then 3 other players come, like hypothetical scenario. What happens when suddenly, the Finnish CS scene is basically in ruins, but let's say that, some 4 Finnish CS players come back and offer Alu a bit of money, an organization comes in, offers him a bit of money, or some Swedish team comes and does the same to him. And I think that's the kind of problem that the longevity of these actual international teams seems to, at least so far, evidence proves, even though it's obviously a very, very small pool of evidence that we have, it seems that if you have, your fellow, friends that you've played with CSGO for 10 years now, or Counter-Strike rather, then that's still going to lure you away from that mixed team.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you, and I think Lurpus, although I felt that opinion, PC Row added like nothing to the discussion whatsoever because he's not particularly well informed. That's not his skill set. That's not his line of work. He actually has said many times that he doesn't think leaks are news. He doesn't even understand news. He's not really a journalist. He's just an ex-pro that writes a little bit on the side. He's no more a journalist than, I don't know, Stan Collymore or Terry Venables or any of the ex-football people that get brought into the back of a tabloid. But one thing I will say is he does know firsthand about what like foreign players can go to America and succeed. He was one of them, obviously, with EG, Fraud, when he went out there as well to play with Complexity. Although on an individual level, I would argue he wasn't necessarily a success. That team, that CSS team that imported him when he got that athletic visa way before Riot was sort of trumpeting about them, that was a success. And it can definitely work. The team that is now Winter Fox, there's an example of how it hasn't worked. But I don't think that's necessarily about the players they've brought in. I don't think there's anything wrong with Pyth or Pitt, as I'm supposed to say. I think this is just that they're just a team that doesn't even know what it wants to be yet. They don't have a particularly good roster. So I think Get Right would flourish in NA. I mean, the idea of Get Right playing for Cloud9 in that ESEA league, where in that region you've got Luminosity and like CLG and Team Liquid, I suppose now, right? But that's it. Like, Get Right will be fucking laughing all the way to the bank. Like, he'd be ripping people's heads off left, right, and center. They're guaranteed top spot every season unless something very big and drastic happens.
The only thing I'd see... Sorry to cut you off. The only thing I see as a problem with that for Get Right himself is, I think, he's been playing Counter-Strike for a long time, but I think to achieve the level of success that he's achieved, he needs to be ridiculously ambitious. And I just don't know if his ambition is going to coincide with going into, online NA leagues and just wrecking shit, because I feel like I feel like for him, what he would love is if Cloud9 moved to Europe. There was some, or moved to EU. There was some talk about that happening, I think, earlier in the year, if I remember correctly, because then at least he gets to play against the best players in the world. But I don't really see what Get Right personally. Okay, he'll come to some European lands. They have a good chance of succeeding, becoming, a top 4 team in the world. But then on a regular basis, he's going to have to be stuck in NA playing against like shitty NA players. Is that really what he wants for the rest of his career? I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, sorry, I've just been told as well. Thanks for correcting me. I did mean Zet. Sorry, guys. I've been on this fucking ridiculous juice diet. I haven't had solid food in 7 days. So if I'm tripping balls, I apologize. But anyway, I agree with you. Is that what Get Right wants? Probably not. But here's the thing. The sad reality is he's better positioned if he were to join Cloud9 to win things than he would be in NIP. I mean, they've more recently been to finals. I think overall, if there was a way to sort of clone Get Right, and you would have put Get Right on Cloud9 with Sean Gers behind him and have the team that we've all heard about being rumoured, and you were to have them go up against the current NIP, I think Cloud9 would beat them most times, like in a best 3, a best of 5. I think they're the better team. I just think they've got too much talent in there, and as a result, I think internationally, I think Cloud9 can actually be a threat with the addition of GetRight. So I mean, it would be the regular season in ESEA Pro League will be boring as fuck, but the internationals, I think it could be really good for him. And of course, let's not forget that right now, with all this money coming in, with all of these big deals coming in, you've got DraftKings, for example, they're now sponsoring Cloud9. This is a multi-million-dollar deal that they've done across the 6 teams. So there's big money there. I mean, GetRight can finally, I think, make some serious money, because the reality is, like, he's one of the most decorated players in Counter-Strike, and yet I don't think he's made as much money as people would think he had. Like, the whole NIP situation was ridiculous. At times, those players were having to defer their salary because they'd overspent their annual budget. And what was happening was, with NIP, they were basically saying, defer your salary, we'll spend money to get to the next event, and we'll win because we're NIP. This is like when they're on that mad 87-0 streak. They blew a year's travel budget in about 3 months. I mean, these players got fucked. It's not like they all had a good time, despite appearances. So I actually think going to an organization that's responsible at Cloud9, he's got security, he's got new opportunities. I think it'll be really good for him. Like, I've known Christopher a long time. He deserves to be fucking happy. He deserves to make some money. So as I said, I don't think it's just a money move. I think Cloud9 are a better team than NIP. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the fact that NIP barely, with their full yellow strats, barely beat Cloud9 in a best of 1 kind of proves that. I don't think at the moment anybody would dispute that Cloud9 are the better team to NIP. I think the kind of NIP era is over. I think anybody who doesn't accept that is deluding themselves. But I actually think that it's much more exciting now that it is over, because we're going to see this whole new era of Counter-Strike where this legendary team, which has basically been the kind of icon of Counter-Strike Global Offensive as an esport, is now going to be broken down. And I think there's still, despite their performances, there's still a huge amount of talents in that lineup. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see where exactly those players are going to be finding themselves. Because, like you said, I think all of them have a place in the top 10 team in the world. I don't think there's any question about that. But you look at a player like Freiburg, whose performances recently have just been so poor, regardless of the reasons. You look where exactly is he going to fit? And I just don't find a place for him. And that's why I think this idea of juggling, where international teams come in, is that going to be the final place for them to go, and is there actually a possibility of finding success there? So it's a tough question, but I think it's going to be really interesting coming up now, whether or not the disband happens after the Cluj major or whether it happens 1st of January 2016 is kind of irrelevant, but I think it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with these players.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And here's the thing as well. What you got to remember is they're not alone, right? This Turner League thing blew this shit wide open. Like, everybody wants to get in it. I got people messaging me all the fucking time. Like I'm the gatekeeper to Turner, which of course I'm not, Like, I'm not even guaranteed a job there, as I said in my fucking video. Like, I might not be involved in the league. But loads of people added me going, "Oh, Rich, can you put me in touch with Turner? Like, our team really wants to be in the league." And you look at some of these organizations, and they're fucking terrible. Like, you're like, there's no chance you should be anywhere near this, actually. But the thing is, they all want to fucking spend big money to bring players in. So right now, if you're like a Gamers too, if you're like a guy like Ocelot, a little bit green around the gills, maybe doesn't know the CSGO lay of the land, and you've got like some really desirable players that are out there, it's fucking literally, people are going to offer you crazy money for them. They're going to offer them crazy salaries. They're going to disrupt them. This is what's happening right now. Even the stable teams are having to deal with this, because everybody wants to get a fucking 6 squad together in NA for the purposes of Turner. All the organizations that didn't get in early on CSGO because they were too busy fucking riding the circle jerk for League of Legends, they now want to come, and they're just trying to buy their way back in. They're trying to make up for lost time by just spending crazy amounts. So transfers like Screams, you're going to see more of those. You're also going to see more and more organizations trying to lock players down on sure, higher salaries, but perhaps more, what's the word? Like more cast iron contracts. That's going to start happening. You're going to start seeing some really aggressive bidding wars. Think about what SK Gaming have been doing when they've had players as streamers and they've just had them on contracts. I mean, they're making money when that player then goes on to play. They're not just forgetting about the contract. There's a buyout. And these things have been going on for the longest period of time. Kingwin cashed the fuck out when Gamers 2 came in for them. So they've already spent big, and now they're losing to other organizations. Sure, they'll have money, but they won't have any players. And the thing is, top tier talent is really, really thin. You've only got a handful, really, of truly great players. And the NA organizations coming in and bidding for them really hard. So, and the biggest European organizations as well. It's going to be really tough, I think, for Gamers 2 to hold on to them. I know Dig Life are coming really hard, really aggressively. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gamers 2 have been saying publicly, and I've had some conversations privately that they're staying. They're going to get a fifth. But I don't know. I'm not too confident. Yeah, I think so too, man.
I don't think that they really have that much of a future together. And I think the biggest problem for them really is that because there's so many Swedish players in that team, once the NIP, I don't want to keep on pulling this back to NIP. It's just such a hot topic at the moment. It's hard to stay away. That because that NIP disband is coming, there's Swedish players there. I think it's almost inevitable that at least some of the G2 players are going to leave, and there's going to be some giant mix-up there. Whether or not there's going to be another international team under the organization of Gamers 2, that's another question. But I think the current iteration of the team is kind of hard to see, staying together for a very long time.
Yeah, I think so, man. Let's hope it pans out the right way, because, look, I'm as excited as any other CS fan. I want great teams to come together, but I don't want it to be unethical. I don't want it to be all about money. I don't want organizations to be buying credibility with just ridiculous spending power. I don't want any of that. I don't think that's necessarily good for the game. And especially when you consider there's talk about league and tournament organizers buying organizations and teams themselves to own them like a franchise model. I think that's worrying. There's a lot of rumors going around that big tournament organizers and big companies that own tournament organizers are reaching out to individual organizations and saying, look, we'll cut you a check for millions to own your brand. And we'll just, there's no question about exclusivity anymore. There's no question about what league you play in anymore. We own you at that point. You play for us. And then with that kind of spending power, maybe they get all the top players in there and they play in an exclusivity league, because somebody is going to try and go exclusive. So the players need to get fucking settled right now. Like, get into a good team, get playing, because all these mad bidding wars are about to start. Bidding wars for organizations, bidding wars for broadcast rights. It's gonna be a shit show in 2016.
Well, I mean, at the moment.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Sorry, yeah, just finishing thoughts. I gotta head off as well, but just finishing thoughts. I think from an outsider's perspective, obviously you know so much more than any outsider. I don't know much about all the internal struggles of esports, but at the moment it just looks like quite a giant cesspool of shit just being thrown around, with organizations just flinging a fuck ton of money at everything they see, players not really having anything to support them at all. And I think it all just supports kind of looking for a players union, stuff like that. But I gotta head off now, so I'll catch.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thanks for calling in, Eric. You look after yourself, brother. It was a great first call. Really appreciate it. All the best. So there you go. So Eric's out of there. And, I'm interested as well to see what's going on. But it's actually, the bigger picture, right, is that it's not just about the players. It's about people trying to buy their way into all of these glamorous leagues. We got MTG posturing for a monopoly. This is what they want. They want to have a global league. They're going 74% ownership of ESL, outright ownership of ESEA, trying to buy into DreamHack right now, 66% controlling share. What they want to do is they want to create this esports empire, broadcasting on TV. Obviously, there are multiple TV stations, but it's not just about that. It's about shutting out everyone else. Meanwhile, you've got Turner coming in. They want to do a league, and it's going to start with CSGO, and then it's going to move out into other games. So they want to get the organizations, the multi-gaming organizations on board. They're coming in. ESPN are coming in. no one's even talked about MLG in this equation. Rumors are MLG is being courted by a super wealthy sugar daddy, very big prominent organization, very big prominent business wanting to buy them. And they've had internal changes as well. Completely says to me, it's going to go ahead. 2016, year of the fucking wolf. Believe it. People are going to be picking over the bones. It's going to be unreal. And a bunch of people are going to get rich. The main thing is that CSGO comes out on the other side. That's all that really matters. Sam, do you have any thoughts on this? You're awful quiet tonight.
I'm quiet. To be honest, I wasn't listening. I was doing the stuff that I had to do. Remember the secret ending
the other
and stuff like that. So.
Well, it's not a secret ending. We might just put it in the middle of the show, basically as soon as it's ready.
It's ready, but
you just let me know when it's ready to go. Oh, is it ready?
It's ready.
I might put it in a bit then. But anyway, the bottom line is, there's going to be bidding wars. There's going to be bidding wars, Sam. People are going to bid for broadcasting rights of esports tournaments. No, not Turner. Fuck that. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about, we're going to start seeing exclusivity. Because on the one hand, right, we've got all of this stuff going on for TV. But on the other hand, let's not forget, has anyone seen the war that's ramping up between Twitch and YouTube? Twitch are trying to become YouTube. YouTube want to be more like Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I think that's going to be the next thing.
Heard.
Where people are buying out players now. I think the next thing are going to be like talent buyouts, not like Twitch are just on a land grab. Like I can see YouTube maybe just giving Twitch a bunch of money to like buy Anders out of his contract and Semmler or something. That's probably going to be the next
this is
one.
okay. So this is the point, right? This is the point that ultimately, right? So the land grab was happening for this reason because people the TV's coming, other streaming platforms are coming. ESL wanted all of their talent in-house. They ain't going to be allowed to be involved with anything that conflicts with their interests. That's how it works, right? Twitch, exactly the same. Partnership managers. What is it? They hire like 50 fucking partnership managers or something fucking crazy. And it's smart, but they're trying to obfuscate what it is, which is a talent land grab. Because now, let's say, from a streaming perspective, hey, it's your boy YouTube. We want to get the best people that do this. You can't do it. You can't do it. They're all gone. They're all at Twitch. They're all in these contracts. So you either pay well over the odds for what they're worth and to try and prize them away, or you just don't get them. Full fucking stop. On top of that, let's say you're a tournament organizer and, hey, it's your boy YouTube. We'll offer you a great deal to run your tournament exclusively on our platform. And then that tournament organizer, they go to Twitch. Oh, well, we need to use Smix as a translator and stage host. We need to use James Duffield as an interviewer. Maybe we use some casters that you have on your books. Twitch go, what, to exclusively be broadcast on YouTube? Nah, don't think so, lads. And now you got to go out and get your own. Indeed, I've been told I'm meant to be doing an event, and it's going to be streamed on Hitbox.
Yep.
A CSGO event. It's going to be streamed on Hitbox, and apparently, all the casters that have got partnership deals with Twitch, they're not allowed to cast the games. So this event's having to scramble just to get casters for CSGO. So it's already happening underneath our noses. It's already happening. No one cares. No one cares about it. Now that the TV's here, it gets even more complicated. Who do we let on the TV? Which TV stations do we like? It's beyond a joke. And on top of that, obviously I've got some sources over YouTube's kind of way. Because, lest we forget, it was your boy Richard Lewis that broke that YouTube were completely revising their, gaming streaming platform and coming into esports in a big way. Yeah, that was me again. Of course, I was wrong, obviously. And Dave said they're not even going to go in for, like, individual players or individual streamers because they've already got the YouTubers, so they don't need that shit. They've already got the YouTubers. Like, the people on YouTube, they can cut them an even better deal than what they're getting already so they can start streaming. Right, straight on YouTube. And in fact, if you stream on YouTube and then you save it as a VOD, the streaming numbers go onto the VOD views straight away. Like nice little features like that. So there's lots of interest in how they're doing things. But they've said they want to go after the broadcasting rights, which is how they used to do stuff back when they had the streaming platform. Remember, they went after the Indian cricket fucking thing, the 2020 league out in India, the Indian Premier League or whatever it was, and they broadcast that exclusively on streaming on YouTube. So they've done this in the past. So this 2016 is going to get fucking mental. It's gonna go fucking ham. And you know, if people thought it was bad before, but like they owned 3D days or whatever the fuck, like this is next level. This is absolutely fucking crazy. So shall we do another call? Have we got another call?
Yeah, sure. Next we'll have Chris, and he wants to talk about what happens when the league scene fails and all the players move to other games.
Okay, let's see. I'm
Let's
interested in this.
find
And,
out.
sorry, what was the name?
Chris.
Chris. Hi there, Chris. Can you hear me, buddy?
I can.
Awesome, Chris. Good to get you on. Yeah, well, good to get you on the show.
All right, cool.
So you want to talk about League of Legends players potentially moving to other games? Let's talk about that then.
Yeah, my thought process was that as big as Riot is now, everyone's saying that, okay, they've got maybe 3 years left before League falls. And the way things are going with Riot Lite, just neutering everyone and rounding off the edges, I don't want that overspill into other games. Like, I've just started the transfer from League to CSGO. I've just got to level 3 now, so I'm playing competitive with all my friends. And the difference that I've seen is you can be as toxic as you want to be. You can say what you want, and you're not going to get reported because you can't get reported for stuff like that. You can get banned, or you can get reported for hacks and other things, but language doesn't seem to be one of those things. So I wanted to get your thoughts on how do we protect other esports scenes from Riot and the Riot Lite fairies?
It's very tough because, unfortunately, it's not just a games development problem, Chris. We're dealing with an infestation of social justice warrior ideals in a space that never wanted them, never welcomed them, never needed them, right? I mean, I'm just going to say, okay, so if online gaming is overspill from internet culture and esports is overspill from online gaming, let me tell you firsthand, why do I need someone lecturing me about transphobia when I followed StarCraft 2 and one of the most sort of revered players, Scarlet, is transgender. Nobody talks about this. Like, do we all hate her? Is that what's happening? Like, sure, she's gonna get the odd message that fucking sucks, right? But like, you know, and I don't like that. I don't support that. I'd never say that. I'm not even interested in the pathetic arguments that people get into. Like, well, I want to use this pronoun. Like, just leave people alone, for fuck's sake, man. Like, you know what I mean? Just respect people's fucking right to be who they want to be, right? Like, that's how I feel about it. I don't care. I don't care. It's not a deception, is it? It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. But if you were to believe these social justice warrior types, we all hate people, all us fat fucking neckbeards. We all hate it. We hate it. We can't allow this, all right? Same with women gamers. And again, I want to say, like, there was this thing on Twitch which was talking about this issue, kept using the word female, which really, it just creeps me the fuck out. They're women, they're girls, ladies, whatever. Just not female. Female implies something alien. Like, you can be a female animal, you can be a female plant, you can be a female plug, for fuck's sake. You know, why don't we call them what they are? They're women, right? They're human beings. They're women. They're, you know. So anyway, I think actually we've really been progressive in a lot of areas. We've had women exclusive tournaments for a long time that have been supported by high profile sponsors that have been broadcast, again, exclusively for people to see. We've had people like Harfu go into Hearthstone tournaments and play against guys and win. And I'm sure again, there's some fucking douchebags out there that are going to shit on her for doing that. But I don't see this as a particularly sexist space. I really don't. And I think about when I was going to LAN events 10 years ago, and the number of girls that I used to see at events, it was fucking rare, man. It was thin on the ground. And the few you did see, they look bored out of their fucking mind, miserable. They've been dragged there by some guy because he wants to show off that he's got a girlfriend so no one can call him a virgin. It's fucking awful for them. But now, here we are, 10, 11 years later, and these people, they're there and they're interested and they're taking part in things. So I fucking can't be arsed with that. Then, okay, racism right now. This is where it gets interesting. There's definitely a sort of socio-economic barrier to entry in esports, no doubt about it. You have to be middle to upper class. You have to be affluent. You have to be able to afford the requisite equipment for PC gaming. And this is true, less so for console gaming. Now, unfortunately, the way the world is at large, this is going to lead to a disproportionate representation of affluent white people. And again, it sucks, but I've never seen a single black player in my history in esports be pushed out. Yes, I've seen them take racial abuse. I have seen that, obviously. But the point is, as was sort of glossed over during Anita Sarkeesian's and Zoe Quinn's meeting with the United Nations, that this is something we all face. In fact, statistically, men, according to a Pew Research study in 2014, men are more likely to experience a negative, to experience a negative interaction online. 44% of men who use the internet are likely to be abused, compared to 37% of women. This is statistical research data that's been taken that nobody talks about. So name me another fucking culture, like another subculture that would be as accepting of like furries, for fuck's sake. Like, you want to dress up like half man, half fox, and like jerk off to like manga or whatever. Wicked, good for you. Like, if it doesn't harm anyone, who gives a fuck? But good luck. You can go to an event dressed up like that in esports and gaming events. You can go, hi everyone, I'm Foxkin, and everyone goes, nice to meet you. Like, that's it, right? Like, try doing that at work. Try doing that at like your after work party. All the guys, you work in a bar, you're tending pints and like that, and as you go to leave, you put your fox ears on. Hey, anyone want to come out for a drink? And you go, no, fuck off, you weird cunt. And that's the end of that, right? So this is what I mean. So the idea that we've got a fucking tolerance problem in esports, I find very fucking bizarre. So to answer your question about what can we do, we can't really do anything because this is internet culture that's under threat. Esports is the sports, are the sports of the internet culture generation. That's what they are. We have invented our own sports, pretty much. That's what we've done. And instead of being lauded for it, we're now getting people coming in who don't understand them, don't have anything to do with them, and they want to dictate what's appropriate within that space. Now, thank God for the likes of Valve that will just simply allow it. They will allow trash talk. They will allow people to be upset and have bad days. They will allow players to trash talk opponents. There is no intervention whatsoever. All Valve care about is growing the scene, having successful tournaments, making it look good. That's great, right? And that's how it should be. Blizzard, somewhere between, but generally veer towards the good, about 70-80%.
They're getting there.
It's only really Riot that have this hard on. Now, what's depressing is lots of little indie developers, and we know that again in the indie development scene, you've got this little social justice warrior clique. In tech publications online, you've got a social justice warrior clique. They're all in with each other. This was proven beyond any shadow of a doubt when all the Gamergate stuff come out, when all of the emailing list came out. And you got like Ben Kuchera there, head of Polygon at the time, saying to people, this is how we need to report this story. This is how we need to report this story. Anyone who doesn't report this story this particular way is going to be ostracized from this group. You had this little fucking mafia, and now it's starting to come to games. So all we need to do is just be fucking resistant to it. We know what is authentic esports. We know that we want to trash talk people. We know that we want to play the fucking games and be aggressive and have outplay and shit on people. We might even want to use language that they don't particularly approve of. It's our right. It's our right to do that. It's our right to expression. Any games that don't want you to do that and want to penalize you for having human experiences, I say just fuck it. Uninstall them. Don't play them. Don't give these guys the satisfaction of being involved in some mad sociological experiment to reform you as a human being. There's nothing wrong with you to begin with. Don't fucking buy into it. I see all these fucking reports from Light, like, I have had letters from 12-year-old boys who have said, I didn't realize the word faggot was bad. Thank you for teaching me a lesson. Let him go out into the real world. He'll soon learn when it's appropriate. He'll soon learn. People will fucking tell you. You can't just shut people off from, the language that other people find offensive. You cannot just censor everything to make sure no one's feelings are hurt. And that is, and equally, the idea that a fucking games developer of all people are going to be the touchstone to reform a generation of youth is absolutely fucking ridiculous. So that's what you have to do. You have to uninstall their games.
Yeah, like you just said, it is a bit ludicrous for them to think that. Two things I would like to mention. You going back to the point about women's leagues. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a bit of a debacle about trans players in women's leagues? And
it was in the Garena league specifically.
I want to. How do you feel about that? I know that it's the live and let live mentality, and I'm all for it. But you kind of want to. I have a feeling that
I don't see a problem.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with it at all. And live and let live and all that, but I can see some corporations just taking the liberties, for want of better words, like just.
Well, again, no. Actually, what you're doing here is, Chris. You see, you're buying into this fear factor. You see, it's the fear factor of the great trans deception. Doesn't exist. There's nobody out there that's going to say, do you know what? If we can get a trans player specifically into our team and then enter them into a female league, we'll win that league. And nobody's going to do that. Like, seriously, it's just this irrational fear of and I don't even know where it comes from. So, to give you an example of where I stand on the issues of it, with esports, okay, this is where the logic of the argument totally falls down. So with esports, what we say is, hey, we shouldn't have women's only tournaments, should we? Because there's no difference, is there?
Yeah,
there's no barrier. You should, right? Equality, egalitarianism, and everyone goes, yeah, and then the people on the side of the let's have women only tournaments, they say, well, actually, we need it because we're underrepresented. It can be a bit intimidating. This helps bring people into the space. And I've not seen any data to suggest that that's true, but that's the argument they present. Maybe it is true. Again, I don't have strong feelings about it either way. So you're like, okay, great. There is no difference. Then, when it comes to the trans players, we start saying, oh, well, it's a guy. We can't have this. Like, I thought there was no difference, motherfuckers. You can't have it both ways. So I don't understand the consistency of the argument at all. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So here's where I stand on that issue. Personally, I think if you identify as a woman, then obviously you need to be playing in environments which cater to that. So women's leagues, whatever, fine, no problem. I see no issue. Now, where I would draw an issue with it, for example, would be female MMA leagues, right? Because there are serious biological and physiological differences there, which unfortunately I think could make for some pretty ugly scenes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that makes me a dinosaur. I'm willing to revise that opinion. But certainly when it comes to esports, there's nothing to really talk about when it comes to trans players. It's hard enough, like I know firsthand that my girlfriend's mother used to work at a clinic for trans people, and the shit is heartbreaking, man. It's like fucking unreal, like the shit they have to go through just to get to a place where they feel normal, where they feel like they actually belong to themselves. And all of these fucking insane debates about side stuff, like what league should they play in, what team should they play in? No. That's the least of their fucking worries. They got other shit to be thinking about, and I just wish it wasn't even a dialogue, frankly. I'm all for being upfront and open and talking about things. I won't censor my views. I won't hide my views, and I don't want to censor anybody else. But I just think in esports, one of the great things about esports is none of it matters. Like, none of the shit outside of esports matters when it comes to esports. That's one of the great things about it. You sit down at a computer and you play. There's nothing physical going on. It's just you and a machine and an avatar in a game, and you go after somebody else and you just try and play better than them. There's no need to over politicize things. I think even having the conversation about whether transgendered players can play in this league or that league, I think this almost feeds into the social justice warrior narrative, actually, because it's what they want you to do. They want you to question things. They want you to think about things. They want you to draw barriers where barriers shouldn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for the mobility, and the female leagues, or the women's leagues, sorry. I'm all for that, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. There was another thing I wanted to talk about quickly. Do you ever think that once League of Legends loses its popularity, all the players, they migrate, do you ever think that companies like Blizzard or Valve will buckle under pressure from the social justice warrior groups? Do you ever think that could happen and they'll ever change their rulings? Like Valve might introduce, say, was it the Overwatch system where you only watch the player and the hacking? Do you ever think they'll introduce like the voice chat into that to see if people are like throwing abuse?
Yeah, I just don't think that's ever going to happen. I can never see Valve stepping in and banning a player from Counter-Strike or banning a player from a major for bad language. Just isn't going to happen. Hell, we saw an example the other day where, like, you've got guys like Simple. He's out there, like, scamming people still, you know, pro player, fucking scamming people by offering them knives and then not giving them to them. Valve, I'm sure they know about it. They know everything. They're very good with their intelligence. But the point is, they're just, there's no need. Very often, the behavior is inherent to the behavior is its own punishment. And that will be, for example, he loses a lot of fans. You know, he gets a lot of negativity on social media. His earning power is reduced. Maybe organizations don't want to pick him up. These things manage themselves. You don't need some godlike fucking body to descend from the clouds and be like, Simple, we have noticed you have engaged in the heinous crime of scamming knives. This is it. Your career is over. Valve would never fucking... Well, yeah, okay, but this is what I'm saying. So Riot would do that. Riot absolutely would do that.
Exactly.
And this is... But this is the thing. They don't even... Right. It's all agenda-driven with Riot because they've been told about ELO boosting rings and who's been boosting in them. And because so many people are boosting in them, they know that if they equal the punishment to all of them, it would decimate the league. Right? So stark contrast. Riot might talk a good game about being about ethics and morals. They wouldn't ever ban, like, I don't know, let's say 20 pros. 20 pros all got caught ELO boosting or scamming or whatever it was. They would never issue long-term bans for 20 pros because their league is a marketing gimmick. A league is a marketing gimmick.
Teams.
One time they did it in NA. Yeah. The one time they did it in NA, it was like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. They'd never fucking do it. They'd never do it. Forgiven, though, saying something bad to someone, and then they're a social justice warrior, and they get in touch with Riot people, and they throw the screenshot out. Of course they do that. You know, they'll definitely ban him for that. It's one player, makes them look good. You know, makes it look like their ideals are in line. But the serious stuff, they've had evidence presented to them directly. They won't do it. The league must always go on. That's what comes first. That's why when an organization is ripping off kids, starving kids, not paying out prize money, that's why they don't do anything. That's why they hush it up. That's why they hate people like me. The league must go on. All of this social justice warrior stuff on the side, that's just fun for them because that's just the type of people, you know, they employ. Let's keep in mind, Light managed 1 year at Valve, right? Jesus. He did work for Valve for a year. And I can't imagine he even dared to bring up some of the deranged shit he's saying. Have you seen this just while we've been on a call? Someone linked me to his Ask FM. I'll read you this, Chris. He says, if I actually, Sam, I don't know if you can bring it up on screen while I'm reading it. I'll send you the link, mate. It's in the group chat. There you go. But anyway, somebody just posted on his Ask FM. It's not even. It's kind of a question. It's Riot Light will do anything to prevent voice chat. He is biased and doesn't want to lose control. Voice chat can currently not be analysed or included into the tribunal, and the player base is suffering from it. What do you think about this statement? Now, first of all, I'll tell you what I think about that statement, Chris. I think it's absolutely right. Of course it is. You can implement voice chat really easily. They shut down Curse Voice, and then they invested money in Curse Voice to get control. So now they call the tune, and then he says, not sure why players think we're against voice chat. Right? Well, hang on. You've said multiple times you don't want to introduce it because of toxicity. And then he goes, yes, university research has repeatedly shown that voice chat introduces toxicity into a game or community. Has it? Has it? You never cite it.
I'd love to know.
You keep citing numbers.
Gets this.
He said before, 127% increase in toxicity with voice chat. What is that measurement?
I'd love to know where he gets his statistics from. Like, it just seems like he's just pulling him out his arse every time.
Yeah, it's unreal. And then, I think it was 127% increase in toxicity with voice chat, 300% increase if any of the players are women. Right? Of course, that's real. That's definitely real. Right? And then he goes, but that doesn't mean we'll never try it. We would just design it differently than other games have in the past. Well, dude, I gotta say, considering you haven't had a fucking original idea in Riot's fucking history, that right at the start you were a copy of Dota, then you directly took heroes that were designed by the people, the players from the Dota forums, like Timo, which I've done a video on. You took that, you didn't even have an original idea there. Now, I know it's just before Worlds, you're doing, what, pick'ems? Oh, right, just like Valve's pick'ems. You haven't had an original idea in the fucking whole time that you've been a company when it comes to League of Legends. It's one of the most derivative and poorly coded games of all time. Its success mystifies me. And then he says, we actually rarely decide to do or not to do a feature based off toxicity. That was your whole excuse for not introducing sandboxes.
Yeah.
That was just a month ago. What are you talking about? How can you get away with these fucking lies? Who is eating this shit up? Who believes this? How dumb do you have to be?
People like...
Well, there's not even that. So idiots as well. Just full-on idiots in like this community. Idiots and kids with a fucking memory of a goldfish. It's beyond a joke.
I was going to throw out a certain Reddit moderator name there, but I'll refrain in case she gets bullied.
What? Yeah, you've got to be careful, mate. You can't have bullying, right? Expression of opinion.
Banned.
Yeah, that too, mate. They'll find your account. But anyway, so the point is, right, that basically this fucking company, they're a law unto themselves. I've talked about it with people outside of esports, just in gaming in general. And I said, the people that are pushing this are like indie devs and Riot are the big champions for them. So they go and do these speeches and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. This is good. Let's definitely do that. Let's definitely have a tribunal system. Let's definitely do this. You see all these new games that come out, like S2 Games did it for Strife, and everyone wants to try and include something like that. You don't even need it for a successful game. You know, Rocket League, boom, simple, great game, fun to play, no problem. You know, people are just fucking raging at each other all the time. Brilliant. Great times. So, look, the key to resisting this influence is to remove its success. Every time Riot can say, we introduced a tribunal system and players love it and our player base has increased, that's basically a win. That's a tick in their win column. And people are letting that happen. So, this is how you do it. You uninstall League, and you just don't engage with it. You ignore the subreddit, you ignore the website, you ignore everything except what you want to take out of it. Maybe you still want to watch the game. That's fine. I recommend you do it muted because obviously the commentary is all fucking namby-pamby as well. But that's what you have to do. You cannot reward people doing things that are fundamentally against the central premise of what the internet is for. So that's my stand on it. I don't know if you've got some final thoughts, but I'm going to jump into another call after you.
It's fine. The one thing I was just going to say to end with, like you just said then, the first time I ever went onto the internet, like years ago now, the mentality was, welcome to the internet. If you ever got abused, welcome to the internet. Sorry. Deal with it. And that mentality seems to be dying and dying and dying, and Riot is championing this. Let's all be nice to each other, and the stuff about indie developers, we all know where that's going to go. The indie developers with Riot championing them, it's going to be, okay, you've designed something cool for League of Legends. That's ours now. Yeah, shut up. No, nothing. Get paid off. That's it. One final thing, if you don't mind answering. How do you feel about how do you feel about the Dunkey video takedown? His video has been.
Glad you brought it up because I was going to mention it after your call. So I'll definitely get into it at length. But look, here's what I'll say. For me, it underlined exactly what a cult fucking Riot Games is. Now, I don't believe for a second that this. I don't believe for a second that what he's saying about Riot banning his video. I think that's obviously a joke. But equally, people are saying, "Oh, Riot had nothing to do with it." Well, I saw the Riot responses, and the Riot responses seem to be a little bit carefully worded to me. They were like, "We haven't issued a copyright takedown on his channel." Yeah, it doesn't mean you haven't asked him to remove the video privately or threatened him with anything. Keep in mind, that was only a couple of weeks ago. Riot Light was threatening to release his chat logs. And I almost think the video was kind of a fuck you to Riot Light, because I think what Riot Light was getting at was he used the word fag in his video. Yeah. And I think he made this video to show him, I don't care if people know I use the word fag. Right? And literally, it was embarrassing, actually, because his all right, do you want the Richard fucking theory about what happened?
I do.
So they said it wasn't the Malphite game that got him banned. I believe him. Right? I think it was that game with the Riot employee. Because I've heard this from a bunch of players. Play with a Riot employee, say something they don't like, mysteriously banned. Mysteriously banned very shortly afterwards. And I think he made that video to basically show people this is what happened. I played with a Riot employee who was shit at the game, spouting the cultist nonsense. And I'll get Sam to download it, actually, and I think we'll play it. Because it's not on Dunkey's channel, so I don't think we'll be breaking any rules. Sure.
Sorry, I just want to jump in to address the chat, because everyone scrolling up, everyone's just going, Riot didn't take it down, Dunkey did. Yes, I understand that Dunkey did take it down, but like Rich has just said, there's an open dialogue there. He had a Riot employee in his game, so there's got to be a bit of communication in there. That's not just happened out of nowhere. I mean,
well, the thing is, no, I think it might have randomly happened. I think he might have randomly been in the queue. But the point is, he definitely has an open dialogue with Riot, because he emailed them and said, "Look, can you let me finish this video?" and blah blah blah. He's been producing League content for so long now. I think that he does have an open dialogue with them. A lot of content creators do. They like it. As long as you're saying what they want, they'll talk to you all day. They'll send you anything, gifts, whatever. But say anything they don't like, and you get the cold shoulder. That's just the right way of doing things. Yeah, as I've told you, they call you undesirable. That's literally the word they use for you internally. They call you undesirable. You are an undesirable person. I've been labeled an undesirable person, and they've used this term to describe me to several people who've then reiterated that term to me independently of each other. That's how mad and fucked up they are. So Dunkey's gone from being a top level sort of content creator that they all like, and now he's undesirable. But basically, what happened was, I'm convinced he played in that game, he called that Riot employee a fag, and then he got himself banned. And that was what Riot Light was alluding to when he said, we won't publish his chat logs because we respect him. Like the subtle veiled threat, right? Yeah. The reality is that they thought the world would have an apoplexy if everybody saw that he used the word fag. That's pretty much like, I bet, not my right testicle, my left testicle, which is only half a testicle due to an unfortunate injury playing rugby, but I'd bet that.
I think I know what you're on about there.
Yep. So that's what I would say. But anyway, look, I'm going to let you go, Chris, and we'll crack on with the rest of the show. Thanks a lot for calling in. It's always good. Hey, no, anytime. You call back anytime you want, brother.
All right. Peace.
Right, Sam, I'm gonna get you this link.
I think I linked it to you already. Can you check if that's the right one?
No. This is the one I think you want. This one here.
Check the one I linked you.
Yeah, I see it. I do see it. So I think it's interesting, actually, that now, and this is classic fucking Riot. Talk about the backpedaling. Can you just bring up that Reddit comment you brought up before?
Yeah, one sec.
Sure thing. Let me know when it's up.
Okay.
Right, so you'll see here that he says, I mentioned this on Ask as well, but just so we stop beating a dead horse, no one from the player behavior team said that. Toxicity is not the reason we're not doing Sandbox. That response was a mistake made by another rioter, and it's been corrected since. So, classic Riot, right? We're going to have, whenever they say anything they don't like, it's a mistake. Remember when Riot Light himself, whenever he like fucks up, he did it just recently. What was it he said? Yeah, that was it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take away all, if you've had a ban at any point this season, we're going to take away your end of season rewards. And that's what he said on, basically it's a summary, not word for word, but that's what he said on his Ask FM. And then what happened? Everyone went mental. This is really unfair. This is really over the top. You crazy social justice warrior prick. This is fucking too much, mate. And then what did he do? He went, there's been a mistake. I communicated it badly. No, you fucking didn't. You revealed your true innermost desires about what you want to do to your own player base. And you got caught out for it. And somebody somewhere said, man, the crowd are revolting. Our unofficial forums are revolting against you, Riot Light. We must stop this. And you fucking basically went, okay, I reckon I can swing this. And you did. And that's what you did. That's exactly what happened. So actually, Sam, I don't know if you have them prepped, but based on this, and then we're going to go into the Dunkey issue, but based on this, can we have a Spam Margera followed by Light's ex-girlfriend, I think?
Always, Matt. Always.
Fuck Riot Games.
Hey there, Riot Light. Just look at you, sat there, dressed as my sassy bitch. You love being my sassy bitch, don't you? And going and putting anything on that I ask you to. You love getting dressed up for me, don't you? You have to do it because you're no kind of a man, are you, Riot Light? Not with your little dinky winky penis. Little worm who you're never gonna satisfy anyone with, are you? No. Not with that eeny weeny little dick. It's pathetic. A worm or a maggot is bigger than your little dick. Anyway, a little birdie tells me that you are scared of being toxic. Oh, you're pathetic. Now get off my screen.
There we go. So that's what I think about all of that shit. Now, Sam, I don't know if you're able to download this video that I linked you to. Have you got it?
Yep.
Now, I think it's important that we play this. Obviously, Dunkey himself removed it, which is, a little bit disappointing. I don't know why he chose to remove it. I can only speculate as to the reasons. He made a joke saying it was because Riot banned it. Riot went on to Reddit and were going, we did not ban his video. Doesn't mean they didn't ask him to take it down. But I'll just play you a little bit of it and you will see why this is... It underlines everything that I know about Riot Games. So, Sam, what I'll do is I'll tell you when to press stop on Skype. Obviously, mute me, and let's roll the video.
Just kidding, guys. Here I am back with League of Legends, the world's shittiest game. You know I can't quit this game. You know, it's like jail. You gotta stay the whole 15 years for committing vehicular manslaughter because some dumb bitch wouldn't get out of the road. Ooh, I'm getting the hang of it again. It's like riding a bicycle with training wheels and a big ass rope just in case the training wheels break off. And then there's even like a trampoline net to catch you if you somehow fall off. Quadra baby, here I go. You guys ready for the Penta? I'm back. You are a fucking little bitch. You are, oh, whoa. I gotta think back to Riot Light, you guys. I gotta think. Always be a passive-aggressive, wet blanket, douchebag dipshit. I have a PhD. Aw, man, Annie, you stink, dude. Right, Riot? That's good, right? Are you fucking kidding me? Olaf wants me to say hi to him. I can't, man. I'm sorry. I'll get banned. I'll get banned from who's over here. Oh, is that? Oh, we're both out. We're both out of there. Why is Dragon mid? I go away for 2 seconds and you ruin this game. Ramus, leave the comedy to me.
When you told me,
And it's not that
when
I
you told me that you were leaving,
That was fucked up.
I was
man.
upset, man.
didn't say that. You are the one that quit. You are the one that made your dumb video.
Oh, remember you said you're done. You quit League.
That's not what
You're
happened.
out of the game for good. You're done with this shit.
I didn't even say that. I
Yeah.
was like literally
All done.
didn't play for a
Done,
while because
The community missed you, man. The community was been begging for you. to
I've
come
been
back.
here.
I'm glad you're back, man. I'm glad you finally came
I've
back.
been right fucking here.
If I quote, I'm done with League of Legends.
That's not my video.
Get in there, you son of a bitch! Get in there! Kill him! Woo! Murder that man! Finish him off! What? Kill him!
Hurry, get it!
Kill him! What are you doing out there?
Are you fucking kidding me?
You fucking suck. Who invited Shitty Riot? I hate these fucking guys.
Look at him. He's just wandering around in the jungle. Doesn't even know how to play his own game.
He's on the wrong side.
Team's pushing cat.
I'm in the jungle, guys.
Yeah, right. Just make us win, you stupid idiot. Did he say that? This man is a fucking dick face. He's pissed. He's legitimately pissed. And I didn't even get banned for that one. That's. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, Fiora, you go in there. Good job. I'll take care of the job.
So there we go. So you can see from that yourself that, look, far be it from me to suggest that the cult of Riot is fucking real. But what was that fucking Oak Silk guy on about? Like, all things in life must be earned. All things in life must be earned. Light taught me that while we were meditating under the Riot office body tree. Are these people for fucking real or what, man?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just some low-level bumfuck employee as well. Like, and he talks like that. It's fucking beyond a joke. And he's running around with his fucking Riot fucking nonsense. Like, it's unreal. That's just how these people are. I've told you many times on this show, and people have got to realize I am telling the truth. I am preaching to you, sure, but it doesn't mean it's not the truth. All right? These guys are insane. They run these job interviews where it's like they ask you fucked up, retarded questions just to try and get cultural fit going on. They ask you specifically, what do you think about Monte Cristo's casting? If you answer the question, well, I think Monte Cristo's the greatest caster of all time. Monte Cristo is critical of Riot Games. This person will never fit in here. You cannot have the job. That's how it works. That's literally how it works.
People think
People
you're joking.
think I'm
Yeah. I was going to say, people think that's a joke. No, that's an actual question that was asked in an actual interview. They asked if you like Monte Cristo, and it depended on your answer whether or not you get the job.
I have interviewed multiple people who have been for interviews for Riot Games. I've spoken to ex-employees, current employees. This is legit. I'm not fucking making this up. Trust me, when I publish my book, The Cult of Riotology, right, people are going to flip. And it's coming. And it is coming. Because these people are out of fucking control. All they got to do is just come down to planet Earth. They can't do it. They cannot do it. They're living in a fucking fantasy land. And that is why even a low-level employee like that is told, shit, man, I've got the fucking Welcome to Riot employee handbook.
Nice.
I have it.
By the way, the correct answer to do you like Monte Cristo was no. If people are asking what the correct answer was no, because according to Riot, Monty is too free. He's too free-spirited. There can only be one free spirit. Monty's on thin ice already.
Can I find this? Hang on. I got a folder. It's just called Riot's Bullshit. I'm pretty sure it's in there. Oh, and people forget as well. Like they're a cult within a cult. Do you know what they do when they have holidays? Have you seen this?
Yeah,
like when they go on their little
fake
working
name,
retreats.
Hammerhead or something.
Yeah, Hammer Industries. Yeah. Hammer Industries. Like it's beyond a fucking joke, isn't it? Like I'm gonna find the employee handbook. I think people need to have this. It's so funny because they call their office the proving grounds or whatever it is. Like it's a reference to Summoner's Rift.
Yeah. That's the old ARAM map, isn't it?
What's that?
That's the old ARAM map, isn't it? Wasn't that called Proving Grounds? Or is that the new one?
It might be. But that's regardless. That's how they refer to the offices in the employees handbook. I just gotta find it, mate. Right, employees handbook. I've got a bunch of shit saved. It's so fucking funny.
Fresh leak.
Like,
first on trash.
Yeah, it's not even a leak. It's still on the internet. Like that's the fucking thing. Like how could you leave that up? So anyway, let's have a look. New employee handbook. Right, I've got it on screen. Oh, here we go. Oh shit, dude. Do you want to just bring some of this up?
Yeah, link it up.
So look, I'll link you to it, man. Like it's fucking so funny. Like if you go down to page 9, just bring this up on screen, dude. This is fucking funny, man.
Sounds great.
This is fucking funny.
Page 9.
So yeah, page 9. Go to page 9.
Fucking 28 pages as well.
Yeah, it's important.
How to make it through this book?
Just read that paragraph. Read that paragraph, man. The handbook is one of the most important things you will acquire here at Riot. Other than the many relationships you adopt and the beautiful work that will create, I'm presuming that you will create. Well, it's not that important, but it will help you get through the beginning stages of your work here and will help you to adopt the freestyle type of life we run. It's unreal.
Freestyle life, mate.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Because the first word that comes to my mind when I think of Riot is free.
Yep.
Free.
So I'm trying to think. Oh, mate, that's definitely what I want. But yeah, so this was put out there for some reason. I can't even remember how I even came across this. It was definitely when I was doing my research for the book. But anyway, yeah, it wound up on the internet. I think I think it's still there. But anyway, bottom line is, mate, it's just
page
fucked up.
14. Welcome to the Proving Grounds.
Yeah, there it is. Welcome to the Proving Grounds, mate. Welcome to the Proving Grounds. Etiquette might be good as well. Like, let me see. Like, I haven't read this for so long, man. It's just like, it's pretty bad. Like,
when you need to leave. What's this?
Yeah.
Nice picture of Snoopy, mate.
yeah, pretty good.
Look, we can't be evil. We have pictures of Snoopy.
Yeah, we want games. We want to make great games.
We want games.
Yeah, we want games.
That's right. We want games.
I might upload it somewhere. Like, I think this is basically like, to be honest, to be fair, this is a very old handbook. I think this is literally when this is like first launched. Okay, I can't find
Christmas Day off though, mate. It's nice.
Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? But yeah, I got this ages ago. So anyway, you can have fun. So I know it does look like it was made by a 7-year-old. Yeah, but then again, I've seen lots of internal shoddy documents. So, but anyway, have fun with that, guys. Pretty funny stuff. So anyway, should we do a call?
Yeah, and next we're gonna bring on Semmler because he wants to talk about CS and the Turner deal, I assume. So one of the every now and then celebrities on Trash Talk, mate. Don't say we don't spoil you.
Right, just keep Semmler there. What am I gonna drink? Shit, man, I haven't got any good whiskey. Hold on.
Do you need to get whiskey for me, Rich?
Yeah, he's digging for something.
Is that what happens when I get in within his presence? He's gotta start drinking.
Oh my god, he's gone for Fireball.
I mean,
this is dark times.
This is gonna
Oh,
hit
okay.
me.
I thought he said whiskey.
Hit me like a ton of bricks. So this is gonna, yeah, well, it's gonna be. But this is gonna. Oh, my ass is out. I've just shown my ass. Just show my ass on stream.
Nice.
Just show my ass on stream. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
Do we get banned for that?
Twitch TV bad.
Do we get banned? Yeah. Sorry.
That's it,
sorry.
you're done,
sorry.
Way worse stuff, Mitch.
Sorry. We've seen too, but I don't even care. Like, my ass is a glorious thing. Anyway, Semmler, welcome to the show. I'm gonna every drink I have is like 10 times more powerful now that I haven't had solid food for a week. It's fucking brilliant. So I'm gonna just do some.
I thought you were
tequila.
off the juice. I thought you were off the juice.
Nah, but
I'm drinking.
Yeah, I'm not, but I have to have a little bit, or I get the fucking DTs, like, so, you know.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
not
I
good
understand
for you.
that.
So I'm just gonna. And plus, I'm just showing my ass on stream. So if that's not worth a fucking drink, I don't know what is. Like, yeah. Apologies for the ass. Yeah, apologies for the ass. So Semmler, you wanted to call in. I find this most perplexing. I thought you guys weren't allowed to talk about these things publicly. So.
Not at all. Well, I'm actually just fucking trolling, bro. I was just sitting at home watching your show. I was like, hey, I see the tweet. Trash talk. Okay, let's see what this is.
So come on, man.
No,
you
dude.
punch on this show. You hit me up. What do you want to talk about? Lay it on.
You just had your Riot employee thing, which is pretty funny, and we're all trying to get our heads around what's coming next year, right? Well, with ESL, ESEA, new seasons there, Turner, new seasons there. Apparently, what the hell is the CS landscape going to look like? I don't know, man. I'm hypothesizing in my head. I'm looking at two. This is the split league. This is like the Turner League and the ESL, ESEA, and that's going to be like what it is next year, and then everybody else can get out. And what are you thinking about this whole thing with CS? Especially with all the players and the orgs and everything going crazy.
Yeah, well, look, fuck that, man. I want to talk to you because, first off, I mean, I don't see how a league could take place without you and Anders being involved, right? Like, you guys would need to be part of it. You would need to be talent. You would need to be on TV, right?
Right. I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. I mean, they've done it without us in the past, haven't they?
I don't want to. See, this is where it gets difficult for me because it's like I don't want to put you in any awkward positions. But let's say, for example, your current Room on Fire partnership status with Twitch. Is there anything in that agreement that would preclude you or prevent you from doing TV work?
Actually, we don't know. We don't even know, actually, because that's not part of does TV, because, okay, there's a bunch of ways to look at it, right? Does TV count as competition to Twitch, for example, right? To online broadcasting? Are Twitch going to get involved in one way or another? I mean, we actually have nothing to go off of on our side. We're just thinking, it would be ridiculous to us on our side to think that Twitch aren't in contact with these guys trying to figure something out. But yeah, like that's the main thing. Everything has been online for now, so it's all been hunky dory, right? Everything's been on Twitch, so it's not a problem at all. But when you get down to this Turner League, all of a sudden it's linear, it's TV, and TV takes away from online. So you would think that as far as Twitch are concerned, they're looking at these guys as competitors because they might actually be taking viewers away from their platform and putting it onto theirs. So that we're all like, okay, holy shit, this Turner deal is broke, or apparently it is, and then you have Monte Cristo confirming it on his side, saying on Twitter, that our team is going to be playing in this Turner League. So all of a sudden, we're sitting here thinking, okay, Jason Lake has released some pictures, and okay, I see Jason Lake, I see Kim Rom, okay, so I guess SK, Cole, okay, so these teams are going to be involved in one way or another, or at least they're in talks. But
I'll be honest.
Is it legit or not?
I don't know what Kim's doing, but yeah, fucking right, it's legit, dude. I mean, it's as legit as it gets. I was in the building. I made a point of even saying about Kim. I don't even know what the fuck you're doing here, mate. I was like, how did On Gamers work out, brother? You know what I'm saying? I straight don't give a fuck, So, but it was interesting because we were sort of picking out the minutia, of how's it going to work. What's the format going to be like? How many weeks? Broadcasting, ancillary programming. Then we did a big tour of the studio. We went over to Adult Swim. I got to meet the veteran head of the Adult Swim fucking studio, and everyone else was really tired or just being rude or whatever. I was talking to this old guy for ages, man. He had some great stories. telling me about working with John C. Reilly on Steve Brule's Check It Out and stuff. Guy was a legend. So I really had a good time. I was fucking enjoying it. But we got back into the room, and I think there was obviously lots to talk about still, and I think it's going to be some sort of growing, process. But talent never came up. Never came up. Not one. Like we never mentioned me, we never mentioned Doran, we never mentioned casters. I mean, I don't think that means they necessarily want to do mainstream sportscasters come in and do it. I think that would be a travesty. They've said first off they want it to be an authentic experience. That's first and foremost. So an authentic experience in CSGO is Anderson Semmler, right?
Rich, what I want you to give me right now is like, so everybody here, the people that matter, right? They're all going, please God, not another CGS that is going to kill our game or twist our game and make it some amorphous blob of what it used to be. Like when people say that, what are they meaning? It's just so that refresh me on this, because that's where us newcomers, us young bloods, right, are having trouble, figuring out. It's like, okay, when people are saying, please not another CGS, okay, what do they actually mean? Because right now I'm seeing this Turner thing. They're like, okay, we don't want exclusivity. We don't want to fuck with the game. We want all the teams involved. We want everybody to be happy. So, like, what happened with the CGS and what's different with Turner?
Right, so it's mad different, though, because they didn't. They came in and they were like, right, listen, if you want to be part of this, you little bitches, you got to do it the Murdoch way. You got to do it the Fox way, right? So they said straight away, MR, right? First of all, everybody was arguing for 1.6 to be on it. Like literally everyone. Heaton obviously was involved. BSL was involved. I'm trying to think who else who might have argued for 1.6. I guess Odie might have done that. Probably not actually, but obviously did have a very successful 1.6 team. In fact, all of the Birmingham Salvo players were 1.6 players. So, there was a lot of people talking about 1.6, and they were like, we can't show this shit. It looks like, it looks like fucking a used diaper in a fucking sandbox. Everything's
1.6
fucking
isn't
brown.
pretty. I don't think anybody can lie about that.
You got triangular people, like the arms are this way, the legs are that way. Like bollocks, they're putting that on TV, right? There's just no fucking way on God's green earth it was ever going to happen. So they were like Source. Everyone was pushing back against it, but they were like, no, it's going to be Source. So then people were like, okay, well, I guess we can all play Source for 5 years or something. So they agreed to do that. But then they were like, your format is too long. Your format is too long. And we were like, what do you mean? MR15, it's too long. 15 rounds of fucking half, fucking, so first to 16, 1 minute 45. This shit ain't going to work. They're never going to play, right? And they're like, okay, well, what do you propose? MR9, 16K start money. Get fucked. We want this shit over with, right? Okay, so everyone was like, I don't know about this, dude. Like, can this work? And everyone was going, fuck it, man. This is TV money. It's got to work. Like, they're dumping 60 million into this. We've all just got newly formed cocaine habits, which, by the way, the shit that was going on in CGS was unreal. There's a lot of nervous people. Seriously, every time I talk about CGS, like, there are people like just, oh, God, Richard, don't tell him about the cocaine. I'm going to fucking tell him about the cocaine one day. You'll all see. But anyway, fuck that, right? So, yeah, but, it was crazy money. So it's like, yeah, you can have your MR9. Then they started saying, these maps that you got this train, it's a bit dark, innit? A bit dark. And they're like, what do you mean dark? It's too dark for TV. Can't have train in the map pool. That's how Tuscan came about, pretty much. The rise of Tuscan. Because they couldn't use CPL Mill as it was then. It started as Clan Mill Beta and then CPL bought it and branded it, and then it was CPL Mill. You couldn't have that then. You couldn't have CPL Mill or any of the CPL maps. You could have CPL Mill, CPL Fire. So you had to have Tuscan, which was basically CPL Mill, but just, wasn't CPL Mill. So the layout was good. Okay. So they really stuck their fucking fingers in the pot. And then it gets even worse. And Scoots is in the chat now, the mighty Sir Scoots. And he'll tell you this firsthand. That there was an executive there whose name escapes me. I don't even know if I should name him. It's your boy Lawsuit. I don't even know if I should name him. But anyway, there was this executive at Fox, and he was like, I did a focus group to decide that third-person Counter-Strike was better than first-person. I mean, the sheer fucking audacity to take a first-person shooter, broadcast it as third person, and say this is gonna work, right? What's the problem? What's wrong with this fucking picture? You know what I mean? So anyway, he said focus groups have said that they prefer the third-person view, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Who are these people? Turned out the focus group was his wife, right?
Totally.
Like literally, yeah, just his wife. Group, one person in her 40s being generous.
So they changed up how you viewed. They changed up the maps. They changed up. Like, did they change? Okay, so they changed the format. What else? What else did they change? What else? What else was? What else went south?
I mean, oh god, I hate doing this because it makes everyone so angry. It does make everyone so angry.
The list is endless. It sounds.
Right, no, but just listen, right? Okay, so look, dude, right? I hate this. Is the part that's contentious. This is what gets everyone really upset. But first of all, the drafts were bullshit. Some maybe weren't. Some definitely were. I remember BSL, like when he was pretending to like, oh, do I draft Fnatic or do I draft Eyeballers or whatever it was. He was writing on a piece of paper, right? And he looked agonized, and the camera zoomed in, like, oh my god, what's going through BSL's mind right now? He looks torn. It was like wrestling. It was so obvious. The acting was so bad, right? And then Fnatic didn't get drafted. The best team in Europe, bar none, right? The Dutch fucking legends, right? Didn't get drafted. So the fucking Fnatic team went and picked up the ball of paper that he wrote the fucking thing on, because he made it look like he wrote Fnatic and scribbled it out and wrote Eyeballers and scribbled that out and then wrote something else. And anyway, they picked up the piece of paper. It was just a smiley face. Like, serious. So the drafts were bullshit. I was in meetings where we talked about the fucking drafts, and it was like all the GMs were there, and I was there because I was the head of European coverage, and like, I don't know, other prominent executive types were there, and they were going, well, you've got to get that German, what was it, Dead or Alive player. You've got to, because you're Berlin Alliance. It just makes sense. It's a good fit. And they'd be like, yeah, okay, well, if we do that, we'll let you have the FIFA player. And then they played these drafts out on camera, and it went exactly like we fucking discussed at these meetings. Whenever I bring this up, everyone goes, nah, that's bollocks, Richard. That never happened. Now, okay, maybe I did imagine 3 or 4 meetings like this. Maybe I'm mental. Okay, I like to think not, but I won't rule it out. Done a lot of drugs. Obviously, anything's possible.
Why you gotta be like this, Rich? Why you gotta be like this?
Yeah, why you gotta be like this? But
bullshit.
The fucking that's exactly how it went down. So there was that. The drafts weren't even legit. Now, to compare CGS to what Turner want to do is apples and fucking oranges. Like 100%, man. Turner have come in, and first of all, I made this point in the video I released today. I was sat having dinner with the executives, and there was a chap there called Peter, great guy. We were talking just about journalism in general. He started out as like 25 years ago or something, or whatever it is. He was a cameraman in war-torn fucking Sarajevo, and he'd worked his way up through the ranks to be where he is now, So we were having this like super cool fucking conversation about like journalism gigs, and like I was saying to him, I wish I'd done more than focused on esports and stuff, and like written some real stories, and maybe I could have gone to a war zone or something. And we're having dinner, and I'm like, look, man, I feel like we bonded and it's opened up a little bit. Why esports and why now? Like, and he just said, he didn't even look up. He went, relevancy, and I went, all right. And he went, look, it's the future, young demographic. If we don't move with it, someone else is going to do it. We'll get left behind. Fuck it. We want to be on the cutting edge. We know it's legit. We know it's a big thing. And like that honesty, frankly, that's what sold me. Because every time you talked about CGS, it was bluff, bluster, and bullshit, man. Like across the fucking board. Across the board. The whole thing was fake as fuck. It was artifice. I mean, they cared so little about Counter-Strike, they didn't even broadcast the whole fucking games. They used to take a commercial break. Not even at half time. Like,
are we going to be changing up how CS is played to fit American TV? There's been questions about whether or not.
Nope.
I mean, because I've been saying, okay, it's going to be on a minor channel, so they probably aren't going to change anything, right? They'll just take the hit if people start getting sour. But are there any changes in the books to how the game is going to actually run? Is it still going to be the same format, etc., or how's it looking?
Nah, they've literally said, that they don't want to change anything about it. That they love the game. Like Turner are looking at this as an introduction into esports in general. Sam, like they want it to be, we come into esports. We start with CSGO. And then we fucking move on to maybe League of Legends. Maybe they bring League of Legends to TV. Frankly, that needs a shot in the arm right now, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Maybe other games. I think they'll have a hard time getting Heroes of the Storm. ESPN with Heroes of the Dorm seem to have that kind of lockdown. I think Blizzard like the idea of going down the ESPN route. But yeah, it's going to be. They want authentic Counter-Strike. They don't want to change anything. Yeah, they want to have a say in what teams come in. And that makes sense, and what owners they work with, and they even want to open it up to some of the lesser organizations. They'll definitely have a big say in talent hires, although it's got to be said as well, Turner's definitely steering the ship, but they have deferred to WMEIMG, the talent agency. They've deferred to them.
They don't have any CS.
Esports. Exactly.
They have 2 CS talent, as far as I know. So what's the good of having those guys on board? Do the talent that work with them have to be? WMG or whatever
No. Put it this way, like say, okay, so I'm signed to WMEIMG. I'm an official William Morris Endeavor piece of talent. They represent me as a journalist. Sure. And I've had no conversations about taking a job with Turner. None. Mm-hmm. I even made the point. Somebody said at the meeting, so I guess you'll be hosting this. And I was like, that would be terrible. Like, I'll tell you why. Okay, so you got this super cool, it's hip, it's esports. Hey, everyone, it's the new big thing. It's the thing all the kids are doing. Let's get involved in this. Here's your host, Richard Lewis. I'm a man approaching my mid-30s. He's bald. He's potentially drunk right now. Yeah, this is cool. No one wants. Yeah, no one wants that.
In that case, right?
Well, someone better, right?
Someone better. This all comes down to
someone. Put it this way: someone from TV would be a better host. But it would be a travesty, for example, if Thorin wasn't used as an analyst. And I think maybe the best thing for me would be away from the camera. Like, I don't even know why people hire me in esports as a host anyway. I've said that many times. I don't get it. I always say to them, like, you sure? Whatever. Okay, fine. I'll take your money. I'll do it.
You know why. You know why. Because you know how the game works. You know how to play the fucking table. You know how to segue. I mean, you know all the basics. It's fucking easy. Hosting is not exactly a difficult thing to do, right?
No, it's not difficult. It's harder than it looks, but it isn't difficult. I'd agree with that. But I'm like, just fucking get somebody better, man. Like, let's do this proper, So I don't know if they want to hire me. I mean, fine. If not, whatever. I won't lose any sleep over it. Maybe it's a case of if Bleacher Report, which is Turner's sports website, wants to do some coverage, maybe I go over there and head up an esports division. That'd work too. But again, I haven't had any conversations about any job, and this is why I'm saying the it's wide open for you and Anders, dude. As far as I see it,
it seems like it's wide open for everybody because there really hasn't been any conversation at all. We're still waiting to get any kind of real particulars about this league. All we know is that, okay, we're interested in doing something, it's going to be money, and it might be out of Atlanta. And that's pretty much like all we have to go off of right now, right? Going into next year where, as far as, on the CS side, we're all sitting here thinking, what the hell is going to happen next year when you got leagues that are busting out saying they want to be exclusive and they're going to have millions of dollars and yada, yada. And we're just like, where does this all fit in? How does this all work? We're already talking about, there being too much stuff going on in CS right now. Where do we fit another league into the picture?
Yeah, but hang on, okay. So the current situation you're in is you don't work low tier events anymore. You and Anders, right? Like there's a cutoff point, isn't there?
We do Copenhagen games, we do Star Series, we do other things. There aren't that many air quotes lower tier events going on anymore, really, to be frank. What do you call a low tier event? Is like a frag bite a low tier event just because it has
I guess.
You know what I mean? It would be I guess there's tier 1 and tier 2 or tier 3 even?
Yeah. Well, let's not get into the ESL rankings of events, right? All our events are tier 1. Everyone else tier 2. Yeah. That's how we're doing our rankings.
Yeah.
Let's not go down that road.
Yeah.
But I think a frag bite is but that's probably where I would draw the line. Like, no disrespect, frag bite. I worked with them many times. I'd work with them again in future. I love the guys over there. But I think this move, 2 seasons of 10 weeks, programming wise, looking where on a Friday. I think that by proxy, even though it's not an exclusivity deal, I think that would push them out. I think that would make leagues like that, difficult to survive. So,
I mean, hell, we're sitting here on our side of things looking at it and thinking, I mean, even if you're on the outside looking in, and sorry, there's a train going by. I'm on my balcony right now. But,
that's all right. Don't worry about it.
Hold on.
I like it. It adds atmosphere. You can leave the train on.
Yeah. But, no, because it's nothing but speculation, right? All across the board right now, it's nothing but speculation, and so you're sitting here thinking, all right, well, you got these guys announcing 20 weeks worth of broadcasting. You know that EE Pro League aren't going to go anywhere, and they're probably going to set up with the same kind of format, which is basically 20 weeks worth of broadcasting. So you've pretty much got like 40 weeks of fucking solid broadcasting coming up. So you're thinking these have got to be the tier 1s. If we're going to go so far, right? Is okay. Let's just go ahead and say that the tier system is based off of prize money, right? And so that would put Fragbite, even DreamHacks, pretty firmly in like the tier 2 position, because if you only have $40,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 worth of prize money, you're nowhere near like the EE Pro League that has 500,000, or even the majors which have 250. So how are you going to compete or even make it attractive for teams to compete in your league when you have that shit going on, right? It throws the whole exclusivity argument right out the fucking window, because there's not going to be any time for the players to play in anything small fry anymore when their time is much better invested in a big league, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. So just to add to that, though, I honestly think, first of all, they've definitely got the blessing from Valve on this. I think Valve are like, look, if you want to do TV, that's cool.
Well, Valve are
awesome.
all about spreading the good word of CS, right?
Right, exactly. But here's the thing: it would have to be, A, no exclusivity. B, it's going to have to fit around the current landscape, so there needs to be room for the majors at the very least, and I would argue other big tournaments as well. Valve are never going to sign off on anything that's going to effectively start closing off areas of entry to CS, and I think they them in turn have a very a good understanding actually of how to be synergistic in this. Put it this way, we all know what happened last time there was a big pro league coming around. We all know how that went down, and the word exclusivity was getting bandied around, mostly by Vulcan, I might add. ESL copped a lot of heat for that, but it was Vulcan that had the hard on for the exclusivity league, because Vulcan are just terrible.
And we all know that Vulcan are shitting themselves right now because the DraftKings getting involved in the scene all of a sudden. Alpha Draft and Vulcan can't be feeling too good right now.
I do a show for Alpha Draft have been bought by FanDuel, so I think they're okay. Vulcan, on the other hand, they just don't know how to. And the thing is, I will add this caveat as well. Like, Alpha Draft, there's a reason why they don't sponsor Trash Talk and all my other shows. I'm sure they would have liked to. But I just like to do the one show for Alpha Draft. I like to do a good show for them on their behalf. I see it as paid freelance work. I don't necessarily go out and endorse them or shill for them. I think they've got a great website. I like what they do. I think they're very ethical in this space, certainly compared to the likes of Vulcan. I do wish them well, and that's why we work together. But be under no illusions, when we were doing contract negotiations, I was like, if you guys ever fuck up and don't pay out money, I'm the guy that burns you. And they were like, yes, I see this. And I'm like, we're going to have to work on this contract a little bit. We're going to have to put some special clauses in that benefit each other, because, I need to be able to burn you. And if I burn you, you need to be able to terminate my contract at the drop of a hat if I do that. So that's pretty much the agreement we have in place in the contract that I signed. And that is that if they ever fuck up, I get to write about it, but they also get to cut my contract. So, and I'm happy with that. I wouldn't have it any other way, frankly. So, fuck Vulcan. I feel comfortable saying it now. I'm not affiliated with the publication. I can just tell the truth, so no one can get my job taken away because I don't have a job. So Vulcan were the people that were really pushing for the exclusivity, and they're just terrible people in general. They've been very aggressive on this skins gambling stuff privately. trying to
sure,
form,
right?
you know,
They want to corner it all.
partnerships. Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to prevent other people from, you know, having any involvement with anyone else that even represents anything else. In fact, I got leaked some internal documents from Vulcan. You'll appreciate this, Semmler. So you know their deck for like Hearthstone. What they did was, because they went out and they wanted to get a Hearthstone league, and they were like, "We're going to put $150,000 into the league," but they were asking for $150,000 of sponsorship. They were like, "We want 3 tier of sponsors." So basically, it was like, you know, there's no money coming out of them, which seemed really odd. And of course, that league's already been shut down. But anyway, so on their internal documents on the deck, they actually were using my photos. So it was like Richard Lewis versus Richard Lewis to show their overlays of what their Hearthstone tournament would be like. And that's obviously because I've written a bunch of stuff about them. And internally, they're all chuckling like, fuck Richard Lewis. You know what I mean? So like, so one of their employees leaked me that. So it's like, yeah, get fucked. So I know all their little secrets. But anyway, back to the point. We've been here before with exclusivity, and I think it's super important to you know, kind of realize that, like, it's everyone else that's being super aggressive. I see MTG trying to corner the fucking market at the moment, dude. I see ESL trying to corner the market at the moment, dude. I don't think Turner are trying to do that at all.
Well, from a commentary perspective, at least, I mean, from a commentary perspective, it gets really weird, right? Because you have these other commentators that are ESL, but then there's all these other, all the freelance commentators really who should be getting gigs. They get pushed out because ESL have their own talent, right? So I mean, that's also like a, you know, really nitty gritty sort of thing. And then we all know that ESL have been like really hard, like trying to get more talent, they just want to own everything. You know, that's the then that makes sense, right? I mean, for them, they want to control the product.
It does. It does. I mean, ESL, I think they need to make some big hires for Counter-Strike, just in terms of casting. Like, no disrespect to the people they've got. You know, I actually respect Pansy a lot, and I think she's very good at what she does. And I think it's one of the great tragedies that the CS community doesn't appreciate her as much as they should. I'm a big fan of Machine. When I was getting told,
baller,
hey, yeah, straight up, man. When I was getting told, hey, Richard, Riot have told us again that they don't want you at an event. We'll definitely get you at the next one. You know, I was like, well, look, man, if you use Alex, he'll be good. Like, he's the kind of kid, you chuck him in deep water, he might be flapping to begin with, but that motherfucker will swim every time. Like, no doubt, right? So he's good. He's good talent.
Look at what they did with him in hosting. Exactly. Like, he's turned into a total baller host. Like, and that was like deep end as well, where they're just like, we don't have a host. Okay, hold on, let's use Alex. And then he just like comes through super solid and nails the gig. I was like, there you go, right? Like, this guy, he's got it in his bones. Like, he can do whatever he wants. Like, Alex is a total baller. I fucking love him.
Same.
Yeah,
but I think
you know, when you look at the broad picture for ESL, I don't know, you look at the broad picture for ESL, for them it's all about, you know, their white label production, right? What they're doing on the side and what these commentators get used for, you know, due to that. And them, you know, just seeing CS as the big thing. You know, they can't rely on LoL anymore, right? Because of Riot. So they have to come up with something else. Dota, it's not perfect for them because it all revolves around the international. It always will be. And now that Valve are throwing majors as well, I mean, they'll get the productions there, so they're winning. They're still winning ESL because they get the productions.
Yeah.
But, you know, they can't like control that sort of thing. So CSGO, because there's no controlling factor in it yet. Sure, it makes a whole lot of sense that ESL would want to try and get full control, try and lock things down before anybody else can get involved. I think they're probably flipping out because of Turner right now, just saying, okay, well, how deep does this rabbit hole go? What does this mean for what we're trying to do on our side?
I was only involved in one meeting, so I can't speak to this, but I think there was maybe even an opportunity to kind of partner up at some point. But, you know, I've said this. I don't know if this is true, but
I mean, it could probably be that they would just, you know, similar to what they're doing with Dota, right? For example, the majors that they offer to handle production or infrastructure or something in some way, right? This whole white label side of ESL is super strong for them because they can be not amorphous. They can be. They can just like flip to whatever they need to be, right? Oh, you need production? Great, we can take care of that. Oh, you need talent? Wow, we got that for you. You know, oh, you need infrastructure? No problem, we got that. You know, it's like they're super strong in this sense, ESL, because they can do everything.
Yeah, Yeah, I totally agree with you. It gets interesting actually because there might be even more trouble on the horizon. There's been a lot of talk about D-Man looking to go back to Riot Games from my sources. Nothing solid. I don't have a job, so I can't even report it, even if I did have something solid. But a lot of
What are you
people
talking about, man? This
that
is the age of the blog, isn't it? Just fucking
yeah,
blog
well,
that shit,
maybe,
right?
maybe. Mate, to put it this way, I think it's actually we've gone past the age of the blog. We moved into the age of the doc dump. I think that's what it is. I need to become the WikiLeaks for esports, dude. Like just fucking. But yeah, there's lots of talk about that. You know what? Look, I think D-Man's introduction to CS:GO hasn't been what he thought it would be. There's been a number of occasions where everyone are like, "Hey, we want you and Anders to cast the final," and of course with ESL, they need to put their high-profile casters into the high-profile positions. Look, I know you would never say this, but I'll say it for you. I think you're one of the people who've suffered as a result of that. I think you're a much better CS:GO caster than D-Man is currently. And I'm not just saying that because I've known you a while. I'm always honest and upfront with all of my friends. I consider it a sign of respect. So I think, I know, man. Well, look, we can do something. We can cyber in a bit, but
When do we see each other next?
base. I can't wait, mate. We'll be out in Bucharest. So anyway, the point being that apparently he maybe is thinking about going back to Riot Games, and I wouldn't necessarily blame him. The grass isn't always greener.
Didn't he not get an offer to do Worlds? Is that because of it? Because he's trying to get back to Riot? Does that make sense? Because I thought that Joe was the only one who got an offer to do Worlds, or at least was the public one that went public about it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that they both did, but yeah, I mean, equally, I don't know. I mean, maybe sometimes your star just fades, you know, and it's like it's weird when it happens. Now, look, I know a lot of people are going to say, "Hey, Richard, you and Lee had that thing," and here, and there's a lot of misconception about that. Like, so first of all, I've said this multiple times: Lee has never been a source of a story for anything from inside Riot. The only reason that I got that email in particular was that I was in a lot of trouble because it looked like to my editors at the Daily Dot that I had basically held back a story that we could have, you know, got a lot of attention for to get a job because I was meant to be doing IEM San Jose. So he sent me that email as kind of a way of an apology, and sure, I just kind of wigged the fuck out and was like, right, people need to see Riot for what they are. You know, basically, the ESL have made an agreement, and Riot have strong-armed ESL to break that agreement. Now, I just got an iPad. I was fat-fingered. I didn't delete the fucking CC chain because I couldn't see it on the fucking iPad. And yeah, D-Man, I know it's just so embarrassing, actually, frankly, for me that happened. So I'm mortified by it. I'm mortified by it. But equally, what the part of it that never gets told is one of the reasons Riot knew I had the story is that D-Man mentioned it to Riot. So it's not like it's all one-way traffic, you know. Now, I've never had an issue with Lee. Like, I loved him when he was a COD 4 caster. And, you know, I do go back away with him. But equally, it's never like we were everyone was like, oh my God, it's the greatest betrayal since Judas Iscariot kissed Jesus Christ on the lips because Jesus was gay or whatever. Like, it wasn't like that, Sem. Like, we never had that relationship because it's a big fucking wide world. We were out there blazing a trail. But I used to like the Lee that used to cast Call of Duty. He was fucking great. He was amazing. We used to get fucked up. It was awesome. Life in the Riot bubble changes everybody, man. You know? So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I got friends working there right now.
So I still wish him well. And I honestly hope that if he is thinking about going back to Riot and doing League of Legends or maybe one of Riot's new games, we know they're developing a first-person shooter. We know they're currently developing a sequel to League, which is sorely needed. After years of saying they'd never do it, Riot backtrack once again. I don't know what he'd be involved in. But certainly, I think it would be great for them. Actually, he's very good at what he does in League of Legends terms. But I think Counter-Strike, he's needed to put a lot more work in. And we already had some god tier casters like yourself, Anders, and obviously on an analysis perspective now we got guys like Moses coming in. I think Sadakist is like really underrated. Henry. You know, I think we've got an embarrassment of riches in Counter-Strike right now. And as I said, I'm almost a little bit, embarrassed that me and Thorin get as much airtime as we do. I mean, maybe with Thorin, it's probably deserved. But as I said, I don't consider myself in that pantheon. You know, I absolutely don't. Never will.
No.
So
you're more of a Swiss Army knife.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Which is terrible.
Mean?
Jack of all trades, master of none. Right? It sucks. So anyway, there's lots going on. Yeah, it's true. It's reality. So there's lots going on. I think we're going to enter into a very interesting phase. I think ESL, if they want to get CS locked down, they need to make some significant talent hires. Like if I was them, right, with all this MTG money that's flying around, I'd break the fucking bank and I would make you and Anders fucking millionaires, and then you just win the game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all fine and dandy when you think about it, but the way that actually works, I highly doubt. Highly doubt that that's in the cards.
Well, I highly doubt that's on the cards as well. But like, okay, so let's say D-Man leaves. Let's say that happens.
D-Man leaves. That opens it up for Sadokist, perhaps. That opens it up for other commentators.
Come on. If you're ESL and you want to be
think about it from our perspective, Rich. Think about it from our perspective. Why would we want to be exclusive? Because you know that once you go into ESL, you don't come out of ESL. Like unless you're. Right. I mean, there is precedence here where Apollo, he joined up with ESL, but because he had already had the DreamHack contract, he had this relationship with DreamHack. He is unique in the ESL lines because he was able to still work with DreamHack, right, and take DreamHack contracts at will. But he's unique in that eye. Maybe we could do the same thing if we were to go to ESL, because we already have relationships with everybody else, and so we could say, okay, well, yes, we work with you. Our focus is ESL, but we still get to do this other stuff, right? But you know full well that once you go into ESL, there's no coming out. Like you're ESL at that point, right? It's like being Riot. It's like you join Riot, you're Riot at this point, and that's it. If you're not part of Riot, get the fuck out. Like, yeah. I think I kind of see it that way.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I do. And here's the thing. It's like, that's why you got to break the bank. That's why you got to make it worth your while. And I actually left out DDK and James Bardolph, so fucking shame on me. Because
no,
you
didn't. The thing is that they would never hire DDK, and you did, but you would never hire DDK if you're ESL. Face it, are a direct competitor to you, aren't they? Because of their platform. And so if you want to get into the politics of it, right? If you're sitting on the outside,
what if Face got squeezed out of doing live events? Turner League, ESEA, ESL Pro League. Whatever MTG's got planned with its global tour, right? Because obviously that's what they're going for. There's a reason you buy ESL, reason you buy ESEA outright, reason you're looking to buy DreamHack, right? This is about having a global league. You combine the DreamHack tour as is with the ESL majors and the IEMs as is. What a fucking great global tour that is. So this is quite obvious what they're looking at. So I mean, and again, I honestly think that they need to improve their overall talent hires. What I will say is, in terms of absolute gems, I mean, fuck man, ESL pulled a fucking blinder when they got Chobra, by the way.
Fucking A, did they not? That guy was so good to work with. He was so fucking cool. I was amazed. He was so easy to work with. He was just a pure.
Do you want to know how highly I rated him? Right. So people think I'm a fucking egotist and all this bullshit, right? Which of course isn't true, because I'm amazing. See the wonderful contradiction in that statement. But anyway, so I went up to James Lampkin, Kinnigan, right? For those that don't know him. And I went up to him at ESL 1 Cologne, where I'd been invited as a guest. We filmed our NIP documentary and stuff. And I said to him, fuck, I'm never going to work an ESL event again. Like, you never need to ask me. You never need to ask me, because Chobra's fucking knocked it out the park there. Like, he's done such a good job. And even if I thought that and felt that, like, certainly the thing to do is definitely don't say it, right? Like, just don't say it. Like, pretend it goes away. Like, ignore the Reddit appreciation threads. Definitely don't say it publicly. But the guy was legendary. And when you consider Chobra was brought on for more from the production side of things. He was never really meant to be on camera, but obviously all the shit that was going on, they wanted me to host ESL 1 Cologne, and I said, no Thorin, no Richard, no party. That's how it works. And they brought Chobra in. He did a great job, man. He did a great fucking job, and I think they should just stick with him and put all their eggs in that basket. Like, I'd love to do an ESL major, because I just love to do the majors and I love to be involved. But ultimately, I think they got a better guy in the form of Chobra anyway. That's like one of the smartest hires I've seen in esports for a long, long time. Like, they're picking up guys like Cockpit. It's like, You know, like, yeah, you've already done that. Like, you got Chobra, it's cool. Like, that's a good hire. I don't know what Hotbit's gonna do, but so yeah, I
Hotbit's
still
over
think,
in LA, isn't he? He's taking care of their Dota
fuck
2,
off.
Hearthstone, probably. Who knows? But I mean,
Yeah, I'd be doing
like
Twitch-worthy
fucking.
interviews.
But Dota, I mean,
Come
fucking Chobra did. Yeah, Chobra. Chobra is super solid. That was a fantastic surprise at Cologne to be able to work with that guy. He is that. I totally agree with you that he was like a super under the radar. They just picked him up and then boom, he just fucking
I'm
nails
trying
it.
to think because they stole him from somebody. That's the mad thing about it.
Wasn't he working for
OGN
OGN before? Wasn't he working
Yeah,
for
what
OGN
was it?
before, doing the League of Legends,
Yeah.
StarCraft 2?
No. But I'm sure he had another offer. Like somebody else in ESL came in from him at the same time, and ESL were just like, "Zump, we're definitely having that dude." I can't remember who the fuck it was now. Can't have been a Zubu.
He's done some WCS stuff before, hasn't he? Am I
Yeah,
mistaken?
maybe.
'Cause I thought that they had seen him. Like what I was thinking is ESL saw him do some WCS stuff for StarCraft 2.
I
Like,
know.
holy
I know
shit!
the
Look at this guy.
But he was in line. So he was leaving OGN, and I can't remember who was the other company that were going to come in for him. But ESL were just like, nah, this has to happen. Like so, and that was a great hire, like no doubt. But yeah, so look, I mean, getting back to the point, I still think that if they want to be like a leader in CS, you know, you're bringing in drugs tests, you're doing all this other stuff, you're like trying to take it to the next level. You got to get yourself a much higher caliber of commentators for the game, I think. And I think that's the one area they're lacking in all of their talent hires. I think that's been the problem. I'm pretty sure they went after Fifth Lauren before Fifth Lauren signed with Twitch. I'm pretty sure they maybe even talked to Henry G.
Yes.
Word
around the campfire is they are making moves. Word around the campfire is they are making moves right now. They are trying to like go after the guys who are freelancers and lock them down. I mean, that's just what we're hearing right now on the side, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get it, man.
Makes
This
sense.
is another
Makes
reason
sense.
why. You know me, Semmler. Like I like to consider myself a visionary, and in some cases a prophet. I think what we need at this stage is I've obviously tried to do as much as I can for the Players Union. It's kind of on hiatus. We got a lot of events coming along. Why can't we have a union for talent, like commentators, casters, whatever you want to call it?
What a fantastic idea, Rich. What a fantastic idea.
I mean, I just, I feel there's so much politics that goes on that prevents people getting the opportunities they deserve. I think we all know as well, there's a lot of, like, nobody talks about what they earn, right? Nobody talks about money. Nobody talks about what's fair. Some people lowball other people. Some people are getting paid a fortune. We've got people signed to contracts. Like, for example, I was just talking about this Hitbox event where, you can't. Then Twitch aren't going to allow anyone that has a partnership with Twitch to do any deals on Hitbox. So the viewer gets a substandard experience, but equally the CSGO community gets a substandard experience. And yeah, I think if we have, if we had a talent, kind of a talent union, I think that would maybe mitigate some of the stuff we're starting to see.
Are we talking a global talent union, or are we talking just like per game talent union? I mean. Just think, okay, like the amount of work that would have to go into that right now, just because everybody's used to working against each other, right? Everybody's used to basically every man for himself. That's literally how it's always been. It's every man for himself. You just fucking fight tooth and nail to get that gig because, otherwise somebody else is going to undercut you and get it. And so how do you like propose it to, not only even just one game, even in just one game, think about the politics involved. Now, if you were to go like all games, if you were to say, okay, across the board, we're going to go ahead and put this talent union together and actually like get it so that everybody's got a fair shake. Holy shit. I mean, I think, you're a visionary and a prophet, but Jesus.
It's a lot of work. It would take some real smart motherfuckers to head it up. And obviously my plate's as full as it gets. But I think eventually,
you would have to fucking retire. In the sense that you have to fucking retire, you'd have to make that your sole focus because it would just demand so much time to make sure that everybody's happy and negotiations, contracts. I mean, it would be a full-time gig for any 2 people, 3 people, basically.
But I'll tell you who could do it legitimately if they wanted to. WMEIMG, dude. I mean, they're an existing talent agency. As we've established, they don't have a lot of CS talent there. They've negotiated some pretty killer deals right now, which I think speaks to their legitimacy. They're obviously brought this Turner deal over the line. They brought the DraftKings thing in. I'm pretty sure there's other deals going on. You know, I know back when GEM, Global Esports Management, was purchased by WME IMG, a lot of people were sneering and kind of like, what are they actually going to do? And to be honest, you know, maybe I had my doubts. It looked like maybe it was like one of those things where it's like you buy a talent agency, you get all the talent on board, you get rid of the talent you don't want. It's a shortcut towards getting the talent. But actually, what happened was, after they got purchased immediately, they just started focusing on really fucking big deals. In fact,
these are two different things, Rich.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But these are two different things, right? It's like an agency or a union. It's two completely different ballgames. A union is everybody, right? You know what I mean? Like everybody's out, you know, to support each other. Whereas an agency is, I mean, it's still like, look at least the vast majority of agencies that we've encountered in esports, at least in my fucking career, is, you know, like, okay, great, you say you're gonna do this for me, and I never hear back from them again. You know, and so it's these sorts of situations where it's just like, okay, there isn't a whole lot of trust when it comes to agencies because, you know, there's guys that are saying, yeah, we'll do all this sort of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then it's just like nothing ever happens, right? Whereas a union sounds all of a sudden a little bit more interesting just because also, you know, you remove that whole problem of the underdog because, you know, there's also the way to look at it where, you know, if you're a top dog in the scene, if you're a tier 1 commentator, if we're going to use tiers again, if you're a tier 1 commentator, it's not in your best interest to establish an agency because all of a sudden you're potentially helping to raise competition. Whereas if you're a tier 2 to 3 or you're just trying to make your break or whatever, right, it's really interesting for you to be even part of a union because you're going to have a whole lot more going for you to be able to actually get these gigs and have a fair shake and all sorts of things, right? So it's like a huge
I tell you what we need to do.
quandary.
I think we should maybe do a show, man. Like just on this topic, like we should maybe get Scoots, get you. Maybe we grab someone from the ESL side or something, like James. We all just sit down and we all talk about it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What,
right?
you want to get Kennigan involved?
Yeah, fuck yeah. He's like one of the guys over at ESL. Like I trust with my fucking eternal soul. He's a great guy. Like I like him.
Yeah,
he's always honest and
guy,
upfront. You always know where you stand with him. You know, but I mean, like we need the other side. It can't just be an echo chamber. I don't do echo chambers.
That's true. It can't be no.
Even when I like them.
I like that you're saying echo chamber. But I would have gone with circle jerk, but you know, echo chamber works as well. Yeah, sure.
There's a few people in there who are like, oh, Richard, if you're so open, why don't you divulge what you earn? So I'll be completely honest. It does differ from company to company, but I'll say it. So on a weekend, for a premier company that can afford my fee, I would typically charge £1,500 for a weekend appearance. But if they can't afford that, I'll negotiate because I'm not financially driven. I don't mind. I will scale it down. I don't care. I've got nothing to hide. That's what I earn. Yeah, of course. But no, it's not even that. I don't even need to do the events. Like if they want me there, I'll be like, look, we can shave this down. We can shave this right down. No problem. So that's what I do. And you know, I've signed agreements with companies to work at set fees for the course of a year because they guarantee you more work. I've worked for small events and they've been like, we can't afford that. I mean, literally events have said to me, we'll have a problem with that amount. And I'll be like, okay, well, tell me what you can do. That's as close to that as you can get and we do it. So I don't mind. I don't give a fuck if people know what I earn or what I charge. I don't mind about that because, as I said, it's always a side gig anyway. So there you go. I'm proven that I'm not a hypocrite. But just final thoughts, Semmler, because we probably need to start wrapping up the show. Actually, it's been quite a long one.
Been going for a while now.
So let's rewind back to this Turner League thing.
You.
Yeah, I'd say fuck. It's great to have you on, buddy. I feel these are the drunken conversations we never going to do anymore. Like at events, we're all so fucking
tired,
busy
bro.
and shit. Yeah,
we're all too fucking tired at these events at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, I want to catch up with Rich, but I really want to catch up with my pillow too.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So just getting back to the Turner League, which is where we sort of came in. I mean, look, I maintain that you guys should be involved. I honestly believe you will be involved. The only barrier to that, I think, could be maybe Twitch, but I'm pretty sure you won't be covered by that. And I think maybe Twitch could even benefit from letting you guys onto something this big. I honestly believe next year you and Anders will be on American TV, and it'll be thoroughly fucking deserved. So I'll let you sign off the call. Give me some final thoughts about that.
Oh, well, I mean, for us, obviously, when you're looking at this league, it's all about, what's actually going to come up and how many teams, which teams are going to be competing in it, how much time is it, logistics. It's all sorts of shit. It's all sorts of shit when you think about a league like this. I mean, for us, we're really just excited because all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, you're excited and you're not excited because at the same time you're thinking, well, we've built everything online, right? And for me personally, I still think that everything having to be on TV, or everybody getting so excited about TV wanting to get involved, right? And I'm just like, stop with this constant search for validation for what you spend your time on. We're internet, we're denizens of the internet. This is what we want, and we don't really care about what the fuck is happening on TV. That's an old thing. That's a fossil as far as we're concerned. We're all about the new, and we're all about the internet. So for me, that's why it's like everything. Twitch, YouTube getting involved, Hitbox, all these things. These are really fucking interesting, right? Because this is the future as far as we're concerned. I haven't used my TV in like 6 months. Like for me, it's all just my PC and what I can find on it. So, Turner getting involved and TV and all this, it's like, okay, cool, fine and dandy, but let's not say like, oh yes, guys, finally we're being, validated for what we do, and we matter now and we mean something. It's like, no, fuck that. It's just another league. And they want to do it on TV. Yeah. Okay, fine, that's cool. That's cool that they want to do that. And that's great, And hopefully they, when they say that they don't want to mess with things, when they don't want to mess with the, the equilibrium and what we've built here, that maybe they work out a deal with Twitch, or they work out a deal with YouTube, or they work out with something that allows them to really be progressive and say, we understand what you guys are all about, that you guys are a part of the internet, but we're also part of TV. Let's find a marriage of the two. That would be a whole lot more interesting for me, rather than it just being, well, we're just going to put it on TV. I'm just like, okay, but who's that? Okay, who's that going out to, right? So yeah. For the Turner
it's
League,
definitely going to run in conjunction online. It's definitely going to run in some capacity online as well. Yeah. No doubt about that.
It has to.
But here's the thing: like, if at any time the fucking Turner guys move the goalposts, like they know, like they knew as soon as I was in the room, they were like, I mean, because his thing, like, I didn't sign an NDA. And I still kept the secret out of respect because they said the right things. But if they'd said a bunch of crazy shit, who knows? Like, maybe I just come straight back from that meeting, guys, you know what's going on. But no, instead I try to be subtle with the CNN Cup and everything else. And they gave us a bunch of, like, I mean, honestly, I think they want to do this right. Like, I got a good read on people, especially industry people. I can smell bullshit a fucking mile off. And they don't even get the tiniest waft from the Turner guys. At all,
that's
which
us.
is which. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
No, it's not. It's not hard
been in the room.
Maybe it's reassuring.
Well,
maybe that's what it is. It's just like, okay, maybe there is something.
You should be reassured. You should be reassured. I mean, here's the thing. Like, right, we walked in a fucking studio that was as big as a fucking air hangar. It was the biggest studio. They had the biggest studio built because they want to factor in a live studio audience. I've never seen anything like it. They took us in. Massive TV studio, way bigger than what we were doing for CGS or anything like that. Built specifically, tailored to our needs. They showed us some slides about like potential ideas, how they could really do new cool ideas for an online viewing experience. They likened it to their NASCAR. They likened it to some of the other online digital stuff they've done. Like, they're 100% seriously behind this. Like, you're gonna have a live studio audience in a fucking Turner studio. And as I said, like, okay, maybe this was a little bit cheesy or whatever, but like Grant Hill, the legendary basketball player, like walked into our meeting, and maybe it was staged, right? Like, I'm kind of inclined to believe it was, but he walked in because obviously we were on the studio of the NBA show that they do, the NBA chat show. That was where we held the meeting. Grant Hill walked in. He was like, "Yeah,
I feel kind of bad. I don't know him.
Great, it's just Google him now while I'm talking." So anyway, this guy, he's like, I just came in and I just want to say, like, yeah, I know about esports. What's that game? Is it League of Legends? And they were like, yeah, we're all Counter-Striking here, mate. But you know what I mean? It was like that, but it was still cool. Still cool. It showed how much they were fucking, they're doubling down on it. They're super, super fucking serious, like super serious. And I think if they're super serious, they'll want to make the right talent hires. And that's why I think you and Anders shouldn't have too many sleepless nights, brother. I think you'll be all right. So that's me. That's my side of things.
Yeah, that's your side of things. My side of things is still wait and fucking see and make sure that they don't rape everything we've been trying to fucking build over here. You know,
I get it.
Let's see how it all pans
first
out. Right?
of all, doesn't the word rape trigger people these days, Semmler? You've got to be really careful.
I know.
You'd get
I gotta be really careful with this word.
Using that word. Yeah,
I'll
cut it out.
TV money. It's TV money, Rich. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It's TV money, man. Like, what can we do? We can't fight that. We're just gonna be there. You know, it's just trying to fight as best we can. And yeah, it's like no. Okay, I'm painting too dramatic a picture here, but you know, it could be scary. It could be scary.
I'll change it to the word fingered. We've used that trash talk before. In the VOD, I'll dub it over. I'll do my best Semmler voice.
Thanks, mate.
Fingered.
Let me just try it. Fingered. Fingered. I think it'll work. We'll make it work. No one will. But anyway, look, man. It's great to get you to call in. Obviously, wish you and Anders all the best. I'll see you on the weekend. Bucharest, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a major good time real soon anyway. So,
oh yeah, dude.
You
I just bought a new suit today, so people better be ready for that shit.
Awesome, dude. Well, look after yourself. You've added so much to the show. I love you, brother. I'll catch you in a few days. All right.
Yeah, I love you too, bro. Take care, huh?
Yeah. Peace. So there you go. There's Semmler, the great one. As I always call him, half of the premier CSGO casting duo, and indeed, as Duncan, third, exactly. It always goes, you're a third, mate. Anders is pretty big, but look, I get it. I think we're entering into a fucking brave new world, and I will fucking say this, it didn't even come up at the fucking meeting, but if there was any fucking idea of leaving Anders and Semmler out of a CSGO league on TV, I'd shit a fucking brick. And as people have seen when they saw my asshole when I got up to walk to my bookshelf,
covered in juice shit.
That's not gonna be fucking pretty. Like when the brick shit occurs, it's gonna be bad. So, but I don't know. What do you think, brother? I'll get your opinion. That was kind of a long segment, and I don't like to leave.
I'm a bit biased, as you know, but from the stuff I know 100%. They don't want to change it. They want it to be authentic. The whole terrorist trigger word is different now. You haven't got to change that anymore. They're not scared of saying bomb anymore. It's not the same, man. It's not CGS. Not yet. Maybe, who knows? Maybe in 2 years it is, and I'm just going to look like a cunt. But from what I've experienced,
I was just going to say, a lot of people in the chat are saying, Sam, how the fuck can you laugh at Anders for being fat when you're that big?
I didn't, mate. I just
but I know you didn't. Here's the thing. Why don't you tell him? Why don't you tell him about your weight loss?
It's not that impressive, bud.
I think it is, bud. It does sound like you're eating at the moment, like.
No, that's just plastic. So, mate, calm down.
You better be sticking a juice, mate.
I am, but it's plastic. Calm down. Listen. Remember when I was chewing on something when? Never when I was chewing on something when you and Thorin were on CSGO by the numbers.
Yeah, it was my
No, Thorin just said, "What are you fucking chewing, mate?" Like midway through a show.
So anyway, why didn't you tell him? Go on, tell him about your weight loss. Tell him how much you lost.
I lost.
You'll get so much.
I lost like 14 or 15 pounds in 5 days.
There you go, 14 and 15 pounds. That's a stunning weight. That's a stunning weight, right? In less than a week.
It's like 7 kilos.
Trust me, mate. I remember when you were on that sofa just behind me there, full on sweating like a fucking mess, like. And you were going to be rich. Just let me have a slice of bread, please. Just give me a slice of bread. There's no bread. I don't have any carbs. Come on, you can do this.
That's a good thing about living in squalor. There was no temptation to have it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. I deliberately made the house as squalor as possible. Specifically for when.
I've just gone off on that. So.
Oh yeah, I'll have this milk, but yeah, it's been off for 2 weeks. I haven't been in the house. I've been at events.
It's just water with cream on top now.
Yeah. It's not even that, but you wish it was that. So there you go, mate. But, you've done really well. I'm proud of you. And if you keep going, you might live to 30. So.
Right, that's the second person I've said it's water weight. Do you realise how can it be water weight when I've been drinking juice for a week, mate? That's not how water works, mate. That's not how it works.
Right, but yeah, a full stone of water weight. Like, what are you like? You know, like serious. You fucking a mermaid.
I sloughed a stone just from jetting on your couch, mate. That's what it was. It wasn't water weight, but it was fluid, mate.
It's like, you probably did lose another stone after you had the first wank when you got out of the house. Like I know for the fact it was like, I could tell that we were getting a bit edgy and tense because neither of us had jerked off for like 5 days or so. Like, Sam, you stole my head in now. All right, man. You stole my head in. I'm going to end up progression now, man. I can't wank. You might hear me wanking. I can't wank. And I can't have you hear me wank. So, yeah, pretty crazy. But yeah, so I'm proud of you, Sam. That's the main thing, right?
So,
we should probably wrap up the show. I think at this joke. It's been another good show considering we cobbled this together at the last minute.
Yeah, we had 2 people waiting on the call. We had Thomas, the drug guy. You said you'll call in another show. That's fine. And we have Abby who wants to call in again. So we'll do that at a different show. I'll bring you on first next show. Sorry to ruin you.
Yeah. Sorry. The thing is, what we're gonna do is I know I'm a little bit behind on the Patreon thing.
Yeah, we're gonna
because so we're going to pump out a load of shit like towards the end of the month. It took us a while to get there because of all the events. I've got September and October always the busiest months in esports traditionally, certainly for me in my experience. So I apologize if anyone feels that a promise has been broken. As somebody that's chewed at people for not adhering to promises in the past, sure, those guys took a year, 3 years in some cases. I'm a big enough guy. If you want to withdraw your Patreon, you can definitely do that. I will not be upset. But we're going to try and get all of the milestones that we agreed to done for this month. Sam, you've done the title sequence, haven't you?
The credits, yeah. We got the credits. They're going to be updated every month. So if you don't see a name on this one, if you don't see a name on this one, it's because you weren't in by the time I did it. So it'll be updated every month.
Yeah. And we're going to update the credits every month with Patreon donators. So we will play a title sequence for you at the end of this. If you're a donator, you might want to stick around and make sure that we do it. We're also, I got a bunch of newsletters to send out to you guys as sort of way of an apology. We're going to pump out a bit more written content exclusively for Patreon supporters, just for you guys. We're $225 away from our next milestone, which I'm hoping actually we don't hit until November, really. That's when I might get a break. But just to let you guys know, we also had a vote on the show and about the new show idea. So here it is, exclusively for you guys. We're definitely going to broadcast an episode of I Hate It Here very soon. But also, I have decided, out of all the suggestions I've got made, the new show that I'm going to put out that you guys paid for is going to be called The Patriarchy. It's just going to be called The Patriarchy. We're going to be talking about all this social justice warrior bullshit. It's going to be a 1 hour long show. We're going to have interviews from people that have been victims of social justice warrior harassment. We're going to be bringing you all of the news coming out of this freakish little cult and just highlighting how insane they all are. So that's what it's going to be called. It's going to be called The Patriarchy. I've asked Sam to make me a title sequence. It's probably just going to be women crying. Who knows? But that's going to happen. So I Hate It Here and The Patriarchy, new shows. You're going to see I Hate It Here this month. Patriarchy is going to start next month. We are going to do
in the next week.
Yeah, and we've agreed with Ram and Nintendo that we're going to get First Blood out real soon. So you've got loads of content coming out. You know I love all of you guys. Look, I'm a real guy. I don't even mind showing my ass on stream. I don't do it for donations. I just do it because I'm old and my clothes don't fit. Right? So I want to thank you all for supporting it. Now, here's what we're going to do. Locked into a juice diet. As we started, we wanted to talk about esports madness. We wanted to talk about reefer madness. We wanted to talk about Team Liquid lying out of their ass. There's a theme here, and you'll notice the theme by the end of this. But what we're going to do is we're going to end on another glorious 1960s propaganda video about LSD. Enjoy the credits We'll see you next time on Trash Talk. There'll be another edition this week before I go to Bucharest. Thanks a lot for watching. Run the vid, Sam.
Rest in peace, Easy.
Thank you.